Hi, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Please bear with us. We've had technical issues and we've had to reset this. So I'm waiting for people to come back in. Here we come. So, hi again.
We're here.
We're here. So we'll need to actually send it out on YouTube again. So I'll need to actually make that, and it's live. So could you chat while I actually send this out?
No problem. So how's everyone?
Okay.
Okay. I've just done a test broadcast on my channel. That seems fine at the moment.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Just finishing a week off. So I've got probably a little over 24 hours left of freedom. I've got people messaging me asking me, where's our video? So I'm just getting back to people now.
What's up, Colin?
I think I've just managed to find the
new link.
Find the video.
Yeah, it's all happening. Where are we? What's going on? What's happening? And there we go. Right. Let me share this.
Wouldn't it be
that
funny,
was fun.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if YouTube collapsed one day? What?
Just tweeting now. Let's talk. Geeky is. Oops, that would help if it actually spelled what I wanted to say. Thank you. Let's tick Geeky. No, I don't think so. Okay, keyboard is not playing ball today. Right. And back up. Tweeted that again now. Right.
Sorry, everybody, for the technical problems.
Sorry, bear with us a second. Yeah. We just had a storm roll through.
Oh, send it this way.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know. It was so cool. We haven't had one in like forever. And I love thunderstorms. We were right in the middle of watching the end of Legopolis. Yeah, Legopolis. Tom's last story. And the thunder started rolling through.
Just at the right time it went. Well, how was that for a mess up? I was trying to make sure that we didn't mess around and get all these porno things in there. So I went into the live studio that it tells you to do, and it messed it up. So obviously, because you set it up in here and you do it in there, it's just messing around.
Are we protected now from?
I don't know now because I've had to mess around. I don't know what to mess around again.
Yeah.
Accordingly, you're meant to be able to go in, edit it, and I did it for Wednesdays, and we didn't get any of the porn coming up.
Yeah,
and it seemed to work. But I did the exact same in today for this, and then when I went live, it says nope, not playing,
not happening.
It's not currently saying anything about being on slow mode, which is what it was on before. So
yeah, because I'd put it on slow mode and made sure the thing. But is it saying it's slow mo now? No, because it's not allowing me to edit it. So let's see if I can edit it. Well, we're live. Accordingly, we should be able to. All right.
Hiya, Cal. Kelly NCH. We got rain as well. Because she was saying in the chat they had thunder last night, but no rain. We had like hammering rain, but for a really short time, and a little bit of hail. And it was like a quick moving storm cell that crossed over us, sadly. But it was fun while it lasted.
Right. It's not allowing me to put it on to slow mode, which means we might have the pornos popping up again.
Well, we got a zapper for that, so
yes.
Put my zapper hat on.
I'm sure we'll be fine as long as we don't flash the Ming.
Yes.
Well, you know, You've said it now,
Hey.
Jim.
It's more views.
More views, that's true.
That's right.
I can't wait till pick of the week because I've got something that every time I see it, and I got it in Aldi today, not today, sorry, and Thursday. I got it in Aldi, and I absolutely love it, and I keep playing with it.
Sadly, I don't have an Aldi near me. I've got a
Yeah, I
little,
need to
not an
watch
Aldi.
basically because I know what it is. So because I can't name it, I have to actually be careful about talking about playing with it. And you'll see what
we got some lovely people joining us. We have Kelly NCH, Disaster Area. Welcome both. We have got Roman of the Empire. Thank you so much.
Yes. Hi.
Carol Jude. Hey, Carol.
Hi. And sorry for the technical difficulties. That's what happens when I try and actually mess around with stuff. Just basically,
I'm sharing my bad luck that I've had this week.
What it is. That's what it is.
Jinx!
Jim crashed the system, so he's crashed our system as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I broke the matrix.
Yeah.
Everything's broken at the moment, though. I yesterday there were like no buses anywhere working. There was a huge shortage of drivers or some weird thing happened. Today, we had our buses back, and then we go into town and queued in Boots in town for a prescription for my in-laws. Almost an hour in the queue, no prescription.
Wow.
Get up to the counter. Oh, can't find it. Sorry. Yay. That's always fun.
It's not fun.
On a weekend as well. Yay.
Wow. So what have you been up to this week? Anything fun on your watch?
Well, I've just wrote down something at the moment. So if Jim says that name again,
he who shall not be named.
Oh.
Say it again, Jim, and I'm going to put this up. I'm only on standby.
Don't worry. This evening, I'm all about the Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah. Certainly doesn't want to flash it.
Is that Gordon's gin?
I cannot confirm or deny at this moment, but the week I've had, I'm definitely hitting something hard.
Yes.
Tisk.
There was one. What's that one? Kelly was saying. There was one bar they wanted $13 for. I didn't buy that one. What bar is that?
It's Swedish chocolate.
I see.
Swedish chocolate. It's we have Cadbury's and Hershey's here in UK that taste completely different to how it tastes in US and Canada.
Yeah.
Yes,
$13 is a little bit steep.
Yes.
But the one chocolate I would recommend, you get it in powder form, so you can have it in hot milk or whatever it's you want to. It's called Oh Boy. And it is amazing. It's the perfect chocolatey, sweety blend. It's not overpowering, but it's just perfect. Ice cold or super hot, the way you want it.
Ice cold and Alex.
Yeah.
Short of a bar of gold, I can't think of anything I pay $13 for a bar of.
I know, it better be gold.
I was going to say that. A bar of gold, yes, I'll pay $13 for that.
Hey, the gold
for $13, it should come with it should come with a tour of Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've seen these fancy restaurants in like New York. It's like, oh, it's a gold-plated steak and whatnot. They're literally robbing you blind because these flakes cost like 13 cents each.
Yeah.
And you need like 5 of them to cover an entire steak or whatever you want.
It's a gimmick.
Actually, when I was a monumental mason and made headstones, my dad was the mason. He used to do it. And on granite, what you would do is paint it yellow, and then you'd put gold leaf over it. And the gold leaf, the packet of gold leaf was something like £4 or £5, and you got about 15 or 20 gold leafs, and it basically covered the whole thing. So yeah, people automatically assume it's more expensive. Bars of gold, yes, but flakes of gold, it's basically that's all the rubbish that they can't actually make anything else out of.
They're still making money on it.
Yes. So you can guarantee they're not actually.
This is interesting. Message to be held for review, and it's done by a Roman of the Empire.
Oh, it's because it's just
brand new.
Yeah, it's not
showing that. That's fine. Yeah, it does catch things up sometimes if there's any words it doesn't like. But
yes, anything that actually thinks a bit spicy, it goes nope.
Yeah, we can release them.
Yeah.
The best one I ever saw with that, it was years ago when I was actually at college. That's how long ago it was. The BBC had introduced a filter when you were putting any comments on their website, and it basically you couldn't say Chardonnay because it would bar it, because in the middle of Chardonnay it had hard on. So if somebody was talking about and mentioned Chardonnay, it would block out what they were talking about.
The BBC.
It's a funny thing we have in Swedish.
Yeah.
At the end of films, you know, the old black and whites one, they had the end. But in Swedish, the end is SLUT.
Slut.
Slut. He definitely got censored.
Yes, it's I can imagine. But
well,
anybody been watching anything fun? Come on, what have you seen?
Well, me and Colin watched For All Mankind yesterday, which has got pretty interesting.
What's that?
Colin, I'll let you explain.
It's an alternative history. If you've not seen it, it's very good. It's an alternative history where the Russians beat the Americans to the moon, and they carry on from there. It's difficult. I keep thinking, oh God, this is woke. No, it's not woke. It makes sense in the set. No, it's not woke. It makes sense in the setting they've created. Oh God, it's woke. No, it's not. It makes sense in the setting they've created. It's good.
See, that's the thing as well. Do you not notice that when you're watching something, even something older, you're sitting there thinking, this is woke, and then you realise, no, actually, it's about 30-year-old. It was actually just very good casting, and they just did it in a particular way. Whereas now, because they keep on telling you that things are woke, if you see a strong woman, you think, is this woke? No, it was actually just a very good movie.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, the way they did it. I mean, yeah, that's why I detest the woke parasite. It can actually work back in time as well. But I mean, it's things like they're pushing. I mean, the first series more so than the others in particular, because the first is set in '69 and then throughout the '70s. They do about a decade's leap each season. But you've got one like, for example, they're going on about. You're talking 69, 70, so they literally just come out of the civil rights movement in America and all the rest of this. All right. In fact, civil rights, I think, is still going on. And they're talking about who they're going to have the crew for that, because they carry on. The Americans carry on the space race. It doesn't stop. I don't want to be no story. They carry on the space race, and they step it up. I mean, in some ways, in some ways, I think it shows what would have happened in the real world if the Americans hadn't got lost interest and lost money after Apollo 17. But the biggest example that comes to mind is they start off with, obviously, as with real NASA, they're all big jokes. Several of the characters are not the same. They've got several of their own characters they have to have in, obviously, because they can't have, but they have to change things around, obviously, because unless you're going to have people playing all the real astronauts and all the rest of it, and then as soon as history diverges, things change. But one of the first obvious things is the Russians make a big thing about they then have their second or third mission.
Yeah.
It has a woman on it. I don't know, big thing about for woman in space. So the Americans have to go one stage further, and they have to have the first black woman. And you go, oh God, they're getting so no.
Yeah.
If you look at it like that, it comes across as oh God, it's so woke. But no, in the setting they've created, it makes sense.
It makes sense because it's the same as they're always trying to one up.
Yeah. And they're going all the way through. Like it makes sense. They've got there's a few things which on their own these days, the way they would have been done by almost anything else these days, you'd go, oh, here we go. This is the little Mexican girl who's going to go up to be the key to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the oh dear God, this is the
I must admit I haven't seen it at all. So
it's worth it's worth a watch. I would say. So it's third season and there's 10 episodes a season, as I say. And what they do is at the end of each this season is going to be really interesting because they're now in 1994.
And it's the wacky races to Mars, which is free.
I got a mental picture now.
Yeah.
Episode 3, I think what's confusing me, episode 3 of 10, and I've just launched them.
So that's All Mankind.
Yeah, for All Mankind.
Cool.
But at the end of each episode, the last scene of each season is about 10 years in the future. So the last season in the last episode, so the first one is basically about setting up the moon base, eventually setting up the moon base. And I think if I'm right, Alex will correct me, the last scene in season 1
was the dragon.
They're launching a big cargo ship from they're launching from underwater, which makes something. And then the last scene in season 2, which was in the 80s, is people coming over boats coming over the water and coming up across the moon, the Mars base on the surface of Mars.
Yeah.
So what they do is they do it. As I say, there were skip jumps. I mean, there was a skip jump of about 2 years in this episode, which was I think
because what's happened is that this new up and started company, they've announced they're going to Mars, but they said they're doing it 2 years early. So it's like the great race now to get, get to Mars. But it was supposed to be 96, wasn't it, Colin?
Yeah, it was originally planned for 96.
But now they've moved everything forward into 94. I think NASA and Russia are going to have so many problems because they've let's just say where they've say we've got to do it quick. They're going to have more technicality problems as they go along. So expect the worst.
Which is why it surprised me when they did, as I said, in episode 3 they did a 2-year time jump.
Yeah.
From a very interesting point as well. I'm still thinking I'm still wondering whether or not there's something going on in the background for that, but that's completely irrelevant here.
But we're going to be doing a look back at all the series on our channel once season 3's finished, aren't we, Colin?
Yeah.
And you're all welcome to join if anyone wants to watch it. So
it is what I mean. It's so far. It is. I mean, there are bits and pieces. As with any show, there's bits and pieces. If I was watching it on my own, I'd probably go, okay, yeah, boring.
Yeah.
But any shows like that.
Well, that's definitely something for the watch list, I think.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, as with anything else, if after 2 or 3 episodes you think, you know what, no, okay, not for me, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
We've all done that. I don't know, disaster. That's we've been wondering that because they're in the 90s, so they're looking at landing on Mars. So we were wondering where can they go after this? Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, where else to explore unless they decide to build a faster than light drive or something? Who knows?
unless they come up with an FTL drive, it's
Oh, that'd be more
Or
interesting.
they basically start doing a sleeper ship,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a Wrath of Khan.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, they what's interesting is they're currently at the point where logically the next stage would basically be the first couple of seasons of The Expanse minus the proton molecule.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, they would have to find something that actually gives that option.
yeah. But I mean, the logical progression from that, because they are being very hard science. You know, there is no, everything is based on technology and the technology. But I mean, I'm not entirely certain that ion drive gives you. Oh no, sorry, no, that's something completely different as ion drives. No, sorry, that's international rescue using ion drives to get them to the moon in 2 hours. I'm thinking of. Sorry, I've been listening to a couple of the Thunderbirds audio novels and must disconnect that.
Yes, we've got to say that for Tuesday.
Oh, there they're back already. Look at that.
Oh, here we go. But it's I mean, the thing is, it's what I would classify as hard science. Well, as I said, I mean, the first couple of seasons of The Expanse were hard science, apart from the proton molecule, because the proton molecule is what I would at one point have classified as science fantasy.
Yeah.
Whereby science fiction, everything is thoroughly believable, either what we know at the moment or where we can see technology going.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, anything with faster than light travel is immediately, in that definition, becomes science fantasy. Doesn't mean it's bad. Just means it's not hard science.
Could go down 2001 with that path.
Yeah.
Well, what I can say, the characters in this have been like so unique through the entire show, and what we've learned from yesterday's episode, it's really, the drama's really gripping, isn't it, Colin? Colin?
Yeah.
Sorry, I literally cut out for half a second then again.
Well, I'm saying that the drama's so gripping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because how can it be? Take one character. She is like she's been there for all 3 seasons, but now she's done something that she should not have done, and I don't really want to spoil it. And it's what you call a shot yourself in the foot moment.
It was, however, a very interesting examination of how that sort of thing is done.
Yes.
In how that sort of thing is worked out in real life. Again, it's difficult to back any details without actually sort of.
We're not trying to really spoil it, are we?
No, exactly.
Yeah. But no, it is a good It is a very good program.
I'm putting that down on my watch list for all mankind. And I quite agree that The Expanse was great until the last season. I stopped halfway after about 3 episodes into season 4. Never watched it again.
So I saw season 5. Yeah, Roman. If you're talking about For All Mankind, yeah, I agree. There's a few odd things in that, but I think it's getting to the point where they need the story to go in a certain direction. But for the Expanse, as I said, I think, if I remember right, I read the books. I think I've read the first 3 books. I don't think I read the 4th book, but I read the first 3 books. Then watched before I watched the series. I think because with the Expanse, the first book was the first 1.5 seasons. And seasons 2 and 3 were books 2 and 3. So you got the first book finished halfway through season 2. Then you've got 1.5 seasons two books crammed to 1.5 seasons, which was
yeah. And I hear that they messed it up is because the final books there was a time jump of something like 30 years.
Yes, so
they
I
didn't want to do that because they would have had to age all the characters up.
Well, I must admit, I completely, they pissed me off with season 5 a number of ways. They bored me. Some of it were boring, but I have heard that, for example, oh God, how many times can Naomi hold her sodding breath is actually in the book. There's some bits like that, but as with they seriously annoyed me because they decided to go and kill off a character just because of allegations that have been made about the actor. And as we all know these days, an accusation is enough.
Yes.
And that irritated me. I did actually watch, especially when I found out that apparently the person in charge, the main person behind getting this guy fired was one of the other lead actors who actually quite a good one of the best characters. Pissed me off. But that's Hollywood politics. But then, exactly, Roman, exactly. Yeah. Not only did they kill him off, they quite obviously killed him off after the fact with what was obviously a still with some painted blood on it. It was almost killed off screen. It was obviously remade. And then they have the gall. I did actually see the first episode of season 6 and didn't bother with the rest. They actually had the gall to have the character whose actor instigated all this, I believe, actually be the one to sort of stop and touch the guy's nameplate as he went out of the ship. But I as I said, I actually wasn't that interested. I found I was not. I've read a couple of the short stories, which are quite interesting. But I'm told that the later books, A, got somewhat woke, although apparently the last one brought it back in, and B, as you said, there is a time jump. I think I've got a feeling that the time jump may come at the end of book 6. So basically, what they've done, I think, is they've finished the series at the point where the time jump happens. I think that's what's happened, but I'm not familiar with the books enough or the series to actually know.
Yeah, I just heard some of the other channels talking about it, but I started at season. I really enjoyed it because me with newer stuff, I usually go, not for me. But I started watching it. I quite enjoyed it. Season 4 came around, and I just found it boring, and I just stopped. It's not a case of I found it bad or anything, but it just almost like everything they built up to just seemed to be a case of it was just churning along and there was nothing good happening. But I know a lot of people were saying that to finish it, and then it was season 5 it went. But I'm the same. Maybe it was just because with new stuff. What happened there? Jim's bounced again. I think maybe I've got kicked. But I just, me with newer stuff, it has to actually get me. But for some reason, it basically did Jim and just bounced. We thought your machine had crashed again.
No, I clicked the wrong button.
I'll let you off with that one. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I have everything to set up again. It's just there is no buttons. Nothing is where I want it. It's just nah.
So the really ironic thing, Jim, being I've actually just started doing a course run by Google, an online course by Google on IT support, and I've just finished doing the basic look at hardware section. So I was thinking of Jim when you and I was doing that. It was literally a case of doing this thing that the job centre put me on, and it's quite. I mean, the one we just started doing on operating systems on it as well, but there was It was one that I mean, the end of the last bit was a click and drag sort of thing for actually, do you remember how to build a computer? Interestingly, one without a sound card or graphics card, but
yeah. There's plenty of things to learn, and for anyone that is struggling, I would definitely recommend just go and grab a free Google course, or just go on YouTube, grab something to learn about IT.
Yeah.
Even if you're never going to work with it, it will definitely help you in your home life. As like something goes wrong with your computer, your laptop, whatever it is, there is a YouTube video for it. I can guarantee you that, because YouTube's been around for 2 decades now.
Well, the thing that gets me is a lot of these, they've got supplementary reading. I mean, it's all that it's done by Google, and all the people in it are Google employees, and they, but there's a lot of things they see the supplementary reading on it, and a lot of supplementary reading is basically Wikipedia articles. So you go, okay. All right, hopefully one assumes that one can take it, presumably that they are actually sort of Wikipedia article which you can trust.
Yeah. Well, I got this shirt especially for you, PJ.
Right, hold on. Let's see if we can read it.
Since you're IT.
Right, I'm just giving you the solo layout. My brain ran into a problem and needs to restart. We just collecting some sleep info, so please don't talk to me until the process is over.
That's perfect.
Very good. I'll need to dig out one of the pictures. I was working one weekend, and we'd been working every day for 3 months. We were doing 12-hour shifts, and me and one guy was in a Saturday, and we just stopped for 5 minutes, and he's got a picture of me sitting at my desk. And I've got it somewhere because he put it on Facebook at the time. It was a few years back, but it was all over Facebook for a while. There's everybody asking me. He said, I'm working hard. Really, I was. That's why I was knackered.
They're back.
They're back. Oh, God. See, the thing is, I can block them, and it blocks, but it still pops them up on Facebook stuff. So it is absolutely. It's just because that's why the problem appeared. Is I tried to actually set it up so only subscribed members can chat and have to be subscribed for at least 5-10 minutes. And I did it for Wednesdays and it worked. We had no porn stuff. However, tried to do it for tonight's stream. So when I went live, it went, nope, you're not going live. And I had to reset it, which means I couldn't put any of the settings on.
There must be a way though to
should be. I think it was YouTube. They've taken there's a function, there's a cog you click to do all that, and the cog had disappeared, and I think that's where the problem was. So it might be just a case of my system just needs a restart just to reset everything, but I don't think so. I think it was just a glitch because the way I was doing it, because I've been busy today, so I might have actually just clicked the wrong button somewhere. And it's my fault. So I'm just putting it down as it my fault, but it could have been anybody's. Probably mine's. Yep. It's something we try not to have on the stream. Sex bots. Or any bots. But it's basically...
I have to admit, though, I'm quite curious. What do the sexbot things they're going to get from our panel and our viewers? Because clearly we're not talking about anything. Well, maybe I am, but other people are not talking about anything.
We're certainly not flashing one Ming tonight. So.
Exactly. So how are they actually getting to our channel, our stream?
They know what I've got sitting right there. They know what I've got sitting right there. So they have. That's what it is. They know what I've got sitting right there. And it's one of my pics. And it is sitting there going.
I do have a super of the week. I'm looking forward to showing it.
So that's why Az no longer uses the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Mr. AWK's nicked it.
Right. Pick of the week. It's one of the picks. Yes. Roman, I got it. There it's there. It's sitting there. The 40th anniversary
That's
edition.
cool.
I'm going to put it on to a solo layout because this is one of the ones that I've been. So there you go. The 40th anniversary. It's still in the sleeve. I'm not taking it out because I'm not ready to read it yet. So it's still sitting in the pack. But yes, I picked that up and it came through this week. So I'm so looking forward to that. And that was what I was going to keep for pick of the week, but you mentioned it, so it got brought forward.
Now I'm gonna have to dig my stuff out in this heap of computer garbage.
Yep.
So we hear some crash and banging, then we know what happened.
Looking forward to this. So just based on the graphic, the board, and the what do you call that part at the back? The description is just ready to go. I'm just so can't wait. So I've got some other wee bits and pieces here, and he's sitting there going. But we've not to rush. He keeps on telling me not to rush.
We've actually got a few things ourselves. Yay.
Excellent. So, well, this week I've still been continuing with my librarians. So far, which it was fun. It was fun. I'm on season 4, halfway through season 4. I've got the final parts of season 4 and the 3 movies to watch. So far, you've had Bruce Campbell. Later on, there's a bit where they come across these, what they call rage beasts. And they go into a room, and the guys who are in the room are calling them deadites. And I thought, nice.
Hello.
Somebody's a big Bruce Campbell fan. So they've had Bruce Campbell playing Santa Claus, and then they mentioned the deadites. I was watching one today, and they were quoting a lot. They were quoting a lot of Socrates and a lot of the scientists. And then they went into a room, and there were people trying to get into the room, and they're saying, "Right, I will lead them away." He says, "But you can't do that." He says, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one." And he says, who quoted that? Socrates, Aristotle? And he says, "No, Spock, Wrath of Khan too." I said, "We just watched that." It's basically they did a quote from Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. It was just hilarious. I would just sit there, big smile on my face. We just watched that. But yeah, I've been watching the librarians and see if it was made now, people would be saying that is woke. Because the Guardian is a woman. She's the ex-military bomb disposal expert, a soldier. Yep. She can't run to save herself. But there's too many times they have her running, and you see her, and it's meant to be running fast, and she just can't run. But she's a really good character, and she's definitely one of my favourite characters. But when you're watching it, she can't run. But you're looking at it going, if that was made now, this would be classed as woke, because she's overly qualified. And then when you see her running in some of the bits and pieces she's meant to be doing fighting, it doesn't work because she's a good actress, but she's obviously not got the physical ability to do what they would like her to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can think me because the librarians is a wee bit zany in certain parts.
One way of putting it.
Yeah.
So it's not what you'd class as highbrow. It's fun. It's nowhere near the Warehouse 13.
We were just talking about Warehouse 13. I might be cool to do another rewatch of that at some point when we have time.
Yes, love to watch. We could talk about.
Yeah,
love it.
I'd say the Librarians TV series is quite difficult for the sorry, it's different in some ways from the films. The films were very definitely Indiana Jones inspired.
Yes.
The TV series is, well, after about halfway through the first series, you get what's his face turns up for the first episode of the series, then disappears off.
I know he
Yeah.
appears here and there throughout the
Yeah.
4 seasons. So, but do you know what the one that reminded more of the Indiana Jones was the one, oh, what was her name? I can't remember, but
Relic Hunter.
the Relic Hunter, that's the
Yeah.
one. And I've got that, and I like that as well, because it's, if you're expecting it to be highbrow, no. If
Well,
you're
we read-
expecting it just to be sit back, fun, and just
Yeah.
they don't take themselves too seriously.
If
That's
I'm-
exactly what
if
the
I'm
type of
remembering-
new program it is.
If I'm remembering rightly, Relic Hunter was basically was basically Lara Croft, the TV show.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly
they,
what it was.
They even had the English guy as the second lead, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it was set up like that, and they obviously didn't get the rights to Lara Croft, so they created Relic Hunter.
Yeah.
And it was a female Indiana Jones. It was Lara Croft.
Yeah.
It was just basically those genres just crunked and put out there, and it was fun. But they didn't take themselves too seriously. That's the part of it. Yes, they acted as seriously. They didn't actually. It wasn't silly, over the top, zany acting, but you could see they were just having fun doing the parts, and that's to me is a good way of actually sitting back, TV on, and just relaxing, not even having to worry about anything.
When we say female Indiana Jones, we don't mean Tia Carrere was acting like a man. We mean we mean a female character doing a similar job.
Yes, exactly.
But as a female.
Yep. But to me, I love it. It's just one of those ones that I just slide back. So if I want to watch something that I don't need to think about the story and entertains me, things like The Librarians or Relic Hunter, it's just great because you could just sit back and it just entertainment from start to finish.
Right. Anyway, I'm going to say something because I've got a picture to show you in a minute. This is not a pick of the week, but you know where I collect my Lego sets?
Yes.
Speed Champions. So I've got the Lamborghini, I've got the Koenigsegg, but this has just been announced, and I am definitely getting my hands on it and hopefully do a live build on your show, PJ.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. They're finally doing something.
Speed Champions. The
Yep.
Aston Martin 007. I actually saw that today. I was in Smith's, the toy store.
It's coming out.
And I was down the Lego aisle. They had the Millennium Falcons and all that, and then they had the cars. And I saw that.
I think this is coming out.
Yes, because they've got the things up and coming. Because they've got the what's the white one? The one with the water.
Oh, they got that coming out.
Yes, I saw an advertisement for that one.
Well, the thing is, if I'm getting this, but if anyone wants a Daniel Craig Lego figurine, let me know because I'm not having it.
Yeah,
I'm going to try.
I'm saying the new Indiana Jones as well. I didn't need Crystal Skull. I've got it, but I've watched it once. I've never rewatched it, Crystal Skull, because it just takes it away from the Indiana Jones feel.
Yeah, it wasn't all that, was it?
No.
But Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull gave us the perfect meme of the atom bomb proof fridge.
Oh yes,
Isn't it? If you want to escape, and if you're ground zero tornado, hide in the fridge and you'll be safe.
Yeah, I know. And not only the fact is radiation's not going to get you, you can get thrown for miles and survive. Getting belted and landing in the ground after getting blown at high speed and for a long distance.
Yeah.
So you just bounce and roll, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, if you were sort of somewhere and there's stuffed in that you weren't going to move, then possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly because you'll
No,
be
but the thing is, as
around,
soon as it hits
but
the
you're
ground,
not. Yeah,
you're literally momentum. You're still moving
exactly.
forward.
Momentum's going to drive you into it. Yeah.
You're just going to. I mean, so even if it was completely paddy, even if it was Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man, the padded in the car, it would still do damage. But is there anything worthwhile these days? the movie boss level.
Oh, maybe I just don't expect anything. Which I mean, what's the, oh, here we go again. There's what's that old saying that the pessimist, the was it the optimist is frequently disappointed. The pessimist is rarely so.
Yeah.
You know, expect for the work. You know, if you expect everything to be crap, when something comes out that's not, it's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Of course, it
See,
does.
it's the same as when I was watching Friday Night Tights. They were talking about the Stranger Things season 4, and they're all going on
Not
about
seen
how
them.
great it is, and all I'm sitting there thinking is, why would I give them a chance, even if they've actually picked it up? Because season 3 they've basically walked it out. I just stopped watching.
I've
So
never
I'm
seen
not
it.
going to pick up season 4, even if people are saying it's really good now, because I stopped watching it. I'm not going to give them the money, because stop actually putting stuff like that in the middle of it. If you don't want, if you want us to continue to watch the next season, stop doing that. So I've not watched season 4. I'm not going to watch season 4 because I only watched a wee bit of season 3. And I went, nope, I'm out. So, and that's the problem. I'm quite happy. I'm not talking about bad stuff, because you get bad and everything. Doctor Who, a lot of us are big Doctor Who fans. Some people have still not seen them all, but the thing is, we all agree that classic Doctor Who, there's some stinkers in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the whole thing is rubbish. However, the new stuff, people are looking at it and going, it's too overtly shoving a message down your throat. Why would I go back?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I quite understand why people do it.
Take one Doctor Who episode, the Happiness Patrol. That was a play against Margaret Thatcher, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was like a bit of a message, but it was a great story.
The Green Death.
Yeah.
That was all about.
Yeah.
That was the giant maggots. It was all about people actually dumping raw. It's about looking after the planet. But, yeah, I mean, it's things like that. It's just a case of. It's not. It doesn't hit you over the head with the message. It's basically here's a good story. Oh, by the way, there's a wee message in there. If you thought about it, thinking.
Whereas nowadays we get no, not Planet of the Spiders. That was a deep. Well, apart from what was it? Whatever the hell it was. That one or Orphan, whatever, you know, the
Orphan
or what, which I didn't see. Whatever the hell the Jodie one was, where our highly what's the word I'm looking for? Crap, no.
Yeah, it was
You got the one with Bark in it.
Well, a highly moralistic doctor has a go at the
You've cut again.
Shoot a spider dead, and then locks a lot of them in a fucking, pardon my French, in a flipping airproof, leak-proof, safe room, so they can die of starvation and eating each other. You know, so humane compared to shooting them quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even a case of when people turn around and say, you know, I'm a big classic fan. I'm not as keen on the new stuff at all. It's when people say, aye, but the classic Doctor never used a gun.
I know.
He did.
He pointed one at Davros's head for Christ's sake in Resurrection.
Peter Davidson has killed Cybermen with a gun.
Yeah.
Colin Baker and all.
It's even things like that when people turn around and say, no, misrepresenting it. The gun was not the first thing they came to. Sometimes they used a gun because it was the final resort. However, it wasn't a case of suddenly, I've got a gun, bang, 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 bang. That's what the show was. It was a case of use your brains first. And if you can't, sometimes you need to use violence because it's the only way out of some. But it wasn't a case of that's the be all and end all. Because we were watching things, it was like Dragnet and all that. The cops had guns and the bad guys got shot, and we were all woo. But they were action movies, they were westerns, they were cop shows, they were different. when you were watching Doctor Who, it was a case of your brains were the most powerful weapon.
Oh,
Sometimes you have sometimes you have to go a bit beyond that. But it was the first thing.
Can you imagine what a modern day version of Genesis of the Daleks would be like for anything they're making these days? When he when he gets to that bit, the have I the right bit?
I don't know if I have the right. They would be going,
yeah.
What the man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts, and that's the problem. It's nowadays. Well, you look at their heroes. Captain Marvel. She's such a hero that being indestructible, she beats up a guy who was mean to her, steals his bike. But she's a hero. She steals from someone. She beats someone up who is a lot weaker than her. But she's the hero. That's a really good heroic story to tell. That, oh, by the way, if you're stronger than somebody, you're allowed to beat them up and steal from them if they're mean to you.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It's the fact is, as far as
there is no moral to that story.
There is zero morals. They've got zero morals. These people who think that these people are heroes have got no morals.
But this is what we grew up with. Whether it was in our early 1 to 9 year olds or our early teens, it's the Transformers. They always had a moral message at the end of it. Optimus Prime going, it's like, remember to look twice before you cross the street.
They did that with He-Man, G.I. Joe.
Exactly.
You name it.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well. We all watch things and they all gave a moral, even westerns or it was always a case of try your hardest. Even you had westerns where the good guy gets beat up and then he comes back and wins because he didn't run away. He actually tried his hardest. Some of them didn't win. Some of them died, but they tried their hardest to overcome the evil, the bad guys, and it worked. But it was not a case of run away. They've came after you now, or you're a superhuman that cannot die even if a bomb explodes on you. But somebody says mean stuff, you can beat them up and steal from them. No problem. You're still a hero.
Or
Superman did that. Somebody comes up and goes, I don't like you because you're wearing blue and I'm a Celtic supporter. Oh, well, give me your house, give me your car, and slap. You'd be sitting there going, how's that a hero? But they're telling you, these are heroes. These are heroes. They're so good heroes that there's a man who just got beat up by a woman.
I'm going to say this. Do you remember when John Pertwee did that advert about crossing the roads? He called it Splink, was it? Yeah, David Price, who was a Green Cross Code man.
Yeah, it was a Green Cross Code. And you had Charlie. My friend Charlie. Yeah. Remember the cat?
Don't remember that one.
It was basically, it was all about swimming and stuff like that. It was, Charlie says, there was a cat telling him the wee boys want to go swimming. And Charlie says, you can't do this. And then it was just basically, it was all the things for kids to tell them how to do it.
Well, Roman in the chat has a great point there that the classic Star Trek
had
it was extremely progressive when it came out. It wasn't the first in anything. A lot of the so-called records that it has attributed, they weren't the first. So the first black-white woman kiss, stuff like that. It did happen in other stuff before, but Star Trek was more popular, so therefore it highlighted it more. But even presenting moral dilemmas, City on the Edge of Tomorrow.
Battlefield.
But yes, tons of these presented to you, just the normal average citizen. All the information you had was basically coming from the physical newspaper you had to go out and buy every morning. This is the information you got, and they broke through that. like a Titan rocket or Dragon, Tesla, whatever the latest model they use is space travel. He was really smashing through that, but he wasn't smashing it down your throat. He was smashing through your conceptions without just force feeding it to you.
Yeah.
But that's when
Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say that's when common sense was common sense.
Yeah, because, like, for instance, there was the original Star Trek one, right? Michelle Nichols was she was going to leave it because she didn't feel right. And Martin Luther King says, no, you're in a position where people see you on the screen and they love you on screen. Why would you actually give that up? Because it's a positive role model. Because they didn't actually put her there just because. She was a positive role model. She was a great character. Yeah. And hands up here, who would actually still love to meet me? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we would all still love to meet Michelle Nichols because of her on it. Do we want to see the girl who played her in the new ones? Do we want to see the one who's playing her in the TV show? Don't care. But Michelle Nichols was someone we all grew up loving.
She was like a role model for women to look up to.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was not a case of she was a role model for coloured women to look up to.
Yeah.
She was a role model for everybody to look up to.
Yeah.
And that's
and I agree with you there, PG. Exactly what you said. Everybody, not a coloured woman, not a coloured man, not a man, not a woman, whatever the epithets are. She is a role model, full stop.
She is. She, even when I used to watch comic book guys. Remember they had the store, it was Jane Silent Bob's comic book store.
Yeah.
The Secret Stash.
Yeah.
I watched that, and my favourite episode is the one they get an Uhura figure, and Michelle Nichols comes in, and they ask her to sign it. No, so they could sell it, just because. And then she says, I've not got one of these figures. Here, take it. Because you, Michelle Nichols, please take it from us. No problem. And yes, it might go for a wee bit, but no, if it was a choice, because even the guys who worked in the place, they were just mesmerised that Michelle Nichols walked into their store. Hello? Didn't know what to say to you. Because there's the women come in who Star Trek they loved and grew up with, and it was a case of the jaw just dropped, and some of them couldn't even actually speak. And it was a case of just staring, because there is this iconic character, this beautiful woman come in, and actually the basically people who grew up watching her and adoring her. It's just one of those things. It's just an amazing. A Russian, an Asian, a Scotsman, a woman of colour, and a Vulcan walk into a bar and go, ouch, it was a metal bar. Sorry, I know it's an old joke, that one. I do like my old jokes. But, yeah.
The thing is...
The original series again.
The thing is with the original series is that it's just you had all these extraordinary characters, all multicultural. You had Chekhov, and
Sulu. Sulu.
But with Chekhov being what Russian or Czechoslovakian at the time,
Russian.
It was a bit, it was a bit like Russian in America. Yeah. But it just showed in the future that we were working together.
Yeah, and that was the whole idea of it. It was a utopia.
Yeah.
It was the world is one. End of story.
Yes.
But the thing is, nobody actually was watching it going, would never happen. They were just watching it and enjoying it. It's you knew the premise that the world was one and they were just going out there and exploring. Didn't matter. It was the one with, remember Abraham Lincoln, and he basically he was talking to her and he says, a negress and he goes, "Oh, I apologise for in case it offends you." She says, "It's just that thing. We forgot that years ago." That to me was the more powerful than the crap they're coming out with.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Because and it was the same as the Battlefield. The first time I remember watching it, the part the penny dropped is when the two of them actually says, "But he's half black, he's half white," and I'm sitting there because up to that point I was wondering why the two of them were fighting. I thought it was just two countries in the same thing they just did on, and then it was a case of, and only when they mentioned it, I realised they were the opposites, and I'm sitting there thinking, but they're the same, and that was the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I understood what they were saying is, did it matter?
I just got to go back to the early episode. The Cage, was it?
That was the original one, with number one. Michelle,
they were. There was so much controversial about that. Yeah, so much controversial with that. But how could it be? Gene Roddenberry didn't see any problems with it.
Yep.
No.
And look what we got: Star Trek Voyager, Captain Janeway.
Yeah. Voyager is my guilty pleasure. I hate most of the characters in it, but I love Star Trek Voyager.
Well, so, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it occurred to me, you're talking about Chekhov. I still don't know. I've always heard that they wanted to put in a young hit character for the a Beatles. I mean, I said I would like to be the other day to one of the Monkeys, but.
But the Beatles, it was a Davy Jones type character, the same idea.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is though that I don't know if it's true or not, but I had often heard that the Russians look at Star Trek when it first comes out and says, "Oh, in this fantastic future, there are no Russians." So what do the Americans? So what does the Americans do? They put a figure who represents their enemy, who represents the people they've been fighting a Cold War against, and they're expecting at that time to fight a nuclear war against. They put one of those guys on the bridge as an officer, and they make him an important character. That's like these days. Like, can you imagine anybody these days putting on a Trump supporter on anything?
No,
as anything other than the bad guy who makes the spiders come alive.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
If we bring it back a little bit, because we have covered quite a few good things about Star Trek, and it is a society, it's a planet that we would all want to live in. It is. We managed to eliminate famine. The diseases, all that trouble, it is super easy to fix. We can keep people healthy. We have the technology to keep them trained and well, and everybody is up and up. And it's the adventure of going out into space and discovering new civilizations. That is where the conflict comes in. It's also part of my pet peeve, which is my biggest dislike about Star Trek. All Star Trek. It is basically the prime directive. Oh, we shouldn't meddle, but we will, because our morals are better than your morals.
Yeah.
And I think that is a little bit where the progressives today that is causing so much problem.
You look at the progressives today, what did they do? They made the Gene, the Roddenberry character, a janitor. Unimportant. Basically, they deliberately called their janitor Gene. And you knew why they did it? Because they wanted to make him unimportant again. Because they don't want people to say, aye, but it was better that way. It's the same as Doctor Who, but it was better that way. Or Star Wars, it was better that way. They don't want you to say that. It's a case of, no, it's better now. That's what I was saying. Remember, I was saying Wednesday, I was talking to a member of family, and they were telling me how great The Mandalorian is. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Basically, they were telling me how it is the best TV show ever. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I used to think you were smart. But it's a case of they don't take into account anything because, well, the old stuff's unimportant. So the new stuff is
series. And then
tell me about it. And no, we don't want to because I don't want to have to explain why it's good. Well, I can explain why I think it's bad, but that's just because you're wrong. And you're sitting there thinking, no, explain to me why I should think it's good. Oh, well, I don't need to. If you don't know it's good, then that is it.
Yeah, but if you don't know it's bad, then I can't explain to you why it's bad. So, okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing is also, Jim, I think some of the best stories they came out with, I know exactly what you're saying with that one. They come out, you get the occasion one where actually they actually make you think about it. I mean, the later shows just potentially came up with the ones where, okay, so they go against the Prime Directive and it bites them in the arse.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, so, you know, some good. I mean, I think, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with you 100%, PJ, about we'd all want to live in the Star Trek universe, partly because I actually wouldn't want my descendants or anybody to have to live in the universe that follows. I wouldn't want anybody to have to live in the universe of current Star Trek 100 years after the original series.
Yeah, I quite agree with that, but I see them as different,
Definitely.
no matter what.
And me.
Yeah,
I see them as completely different.
Yeah.
I would include Enterprise in that one, even though Enterprise I wasn't as keen on.
I would say that it wasn't the cast or anything of Enterprise.
It was the
It was the fact that I was expecting or hoping. Okay, we had Voyager, the most modern thing to date, so to speak. Neurogenic gel packs, whatever, blah blah blah. I wanted more future, and I kind of got a bit disappointed that it was just going all the way back, way before even Kirk.
Yeah. The thing is, I didn't like about it was a prequel. However, their technology seemed a hell of a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the part. That's why I don't like prequels, because when they go back, you look at the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. The reason I didn't like them is because all the characters just met in Star Wars. Yeah, they all knew each other before in the prequels because they all popped up, and you're sitting there thinking, really?
Yeah, but have you noticed?
Because they don't do a prequel with just about a character. They have to bring all the characters in. You can get away with it with some things. X-Men, the bit where Magneto and what's Patrick Stewart's character? It's just the hate name just
Professor Xavier.
Xavier and Magneto walk into the bar, and who's sitting there? Wolverine. And he goes, "Fuck off." And you get away with that because his character has been alive for a long time. But it was just a wee cameo, and it just basically says to them, "Bug off," because that's his character. You can get away with a wee cameo like that, but having cameos where, there's C-3PO and R2-D2, right? Wipe their memories. Really?
Yeah. It's just what someone was saying. I was watching I can't remember whose review. I mean, I've no interest in Kenobi at all. I never but okay, so so the first bit of A New Hope should be that message from Leia to Obi-Wan Kenobi said, "Obi-Wan Kenobi, you fought before. Do you remember? You saved me from the you saved me from this man. You did this, and you saved me." They
were even talking about the part where Luke's got the lightsaber and I say, "I've never seen one of these before." You mean that girl who chased you?
Yeah.
In the desert. You forgot all about her.
Someone was saying, Alex, you've actually been watching it, haven't you?
Yes, I have. And
okay, that's okay. It's fair enough. No, what I was going to say there was one thing that suddenly struck me. That just struck me, given that I haven't watched either of these iterations of these shows. There's one bit that they were showing clips of the bit where he's stuck under the He's stuck under the rock.
Yeah.
And he gets all these flashbacks inspired. Did one of those ones of Leia remind you at all of the time his child?
Yes.
Good. I'm not the only one who thought, oh look, little girl falling through space.
Hmm.
But but then they do exactly the same things. They do exactly the same thing for that as they do for that, from what I've seen, as they do for Disgracery. We must never tell anyone about it. We must never tell anyone about this.
Yeah, you can tell it was
Discovery.
Disney because this man actually goes up to the wee girl and says, "We'll keep it."
Yeah. Jesus God, someone pointed out, was that creepy if you look at it the wrong way?
Yeah. Well, it's why won't look at it the wrong way, because that's the type of thing they say to wee girls. So it's Disney.
But I mean, the thing is, the whole point is okay. So people have been complaining that, well, hold on a minute, it breaks canon in so many different ways. Oh, that's okay. We tell her not to say anything about it, or people might get in trouble. So 10 years, however many years it is later, when she's sending a message for help, she still pretends she doesn't know him, even though she's blowing everything wide open just by that
the
message.
best one is Nerdrotic pointed out is when he died. Luke was heartbroken, and Leia was so good in keeping that secret. She just went, "Don't worry, you knew him well."
Yeah,
I didn't know him at all.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's a case of she knew him, but she didn't care that he died. I kept that secret right by the fact that he died. Didn't even tell anybody the time he died. I wasn't even upset when he died because
she barely knew him.
But I have a feeling that most of these writers are coming from, because I do like video games and playing in especially open worlds and all that. And you don't care that you killed 10 rabbits or 10 goblins or 10. It was like, it was just part of your quest. It's like you have no emotional connection to them. You don't care that they died.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that a lot of the people that are half my age, they grown up with these kind of games, not understanding that, hey, you just eliminated something from this sphere of existence, not understanding how the impact was or why something may come later down the line when you're level 45. And it's like, hey, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah.
They don't have that connection.
Yeah.
But this is written by a generation of writers who think that, okay, that milk comes from the supermarket.
That's true.
Got no connection whatsoever to where the supermarket gets it from.
Colin, I have an even greater one. Local news, not local, the major newspaper in Sweden have you flip it over, at the back end there are 3 people being asked an important question, and they're literally just grabbing sound bites. And this one was about what would you do in a power outage for the city. And the young lady, a scratch lady, the young individual just went, oh, well, I don't have to worry. All my food is safe because I live in a big city, so I have electricity all the time. Not understanding that a power cut will waste your food, which will make you not so safe as you think you are.
Yeah.
It's that disconnect. And I think that is what the gaming culture sadly has brought up as a bad thing, is because they think,
Roman, thank you for joining us.
Yep. Cheers, mate.
Take care, Roman.
Cheers, Roman. But I think it's that disconnect from reality. And I think just putting it that way, and then you put it into trying to build a story or building a world.
And that is the point. It's like people. Remember we were talking about this a wee while back about people saying, "I understand how it works." Okay, you understand how it works. You understand how something works, so you can get that thing working. Okay, but do you understand how the power works to get it working? I don't need to understand that. Somebody else does. So you can only do one part. Just because you've got one part doesn't mean that if anything happens,
Just plug it into the wall and
Aye.
it works.
if anything happens, you'll be able to survive because I know how to fix this. Okay, how you getting the electricity to do that? Oh, somebody else could do that. It just doesn't work. People automatically assume that it's somebody else's problem. It's the same as I've seen something like that where they try and get sound bites, and they did it in Glasgow, and it was during the heat wave. I think it was 74 or something like that, but I can't remember when it was. There was a big heat wave, and they were trying to get the sound bites about how all these Glasgow people were thick. So we're going up going, do you understand why you can't use your water in your garden? And people are just going, well, it's warm, and we've been told not to. And it's just to get the soundbite as I don't understand that. And they were asking them, do you understand the weather? And they're going, well, it rains or it's not, or it snows or stuff like that. So they walked up to a guy and they says to him, hi, we would like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. It's not a problem. It's just lying in the sun, you know what I mean? Lying back on George Square before they tarmacked it. It was all grass. So they were lying back in that and they were saying, yes, we'd just like to know, do you understand weather? And he goes, actually, yeah, I'm a meteorological student. I'm just in for my lunch from the university. And he says, no point asking anybody here. We're all from the same class. And the guy just sort of went, oh, couldn't he actually get a dumb soundbite from the lot? It's because they were all university students.
Whereas these days, all you get from university students is dumb sound bites.
Yes, and that's exactly it. But at the time, these guys knew what they were all talking about. It's just basically the guy tried to go there because Glasgow. I know it's got some of the best universities, but these people are just all lazing about during the day, so in the sun and storing out in the sun. It's just a load of guys came down from the university because it was warm, so they were out sunbathing in George Square. It was a green place in the centre of the city, so there was not a lot of other grass areas around. Now it's half tarmacked and there's very little seating. But at the time, it was always great to be in George Square, just sitting in the grass. No. But it was just fun that with these sound bites, they try and get you to sound thick. And they walked up to the university students and not fun for the...
Well, I do have a feeling it is what it was about, but it was more subtle because this was pre-social media. And the poor young lady that he managed to snatch or get a comment from, I believe she was perfectly honest because she didn't know how much more is going into living in a big city. Okay, it's been, what is it, 2003 was the last time I went out to my parents' cottage in the middle of nowhere. No electricity, no plumbing. We're talking old school, absolutely everything. And with the knowledge we have today, we know there is more to hygiene, taking care of yourself, making sure you have hot running water and all that. But if you have no plumbing, no electricity, you have to plan ahead of time.
Yeah, going camping, not to camping areas where you could just pitch your tent and plug something in next to you. Going camping, you just get your tent and a wee paraffin.
We didn't even have Wi-Fi signal. We didn't even have mobile phone signal in these locations.
Yeah, I used to go fishing. We had a tent, and we would basically just a place, pitch a tent, and if we wanted light at night, we built a fire. You wanted to cook something, you had a wee paraffin stove, and that was it. Or you just put the potatoes on a stick and actually, or on a thing, skewer and actually cook.
Oh, I went more modern than that. Well, for the more complicated cooking, I actually had a storm stove, but for the normal cooking, it was literally just a stone circle, dry wood that you literally just went around the area where you were camping. You gathered it together, you dried it up so that it wasn't making too much smoke, and then you lit it on fire and put the pot on top of it and cooked whatever you wanted to.
I remember going camping, and my dad would just actually get a load of potatoes and just throw them in the middle of the fire. And then when the fire went out, we'd dig them out, and then just peel them out and just get the potatoes in the middle. It wasn't burnt. I mean, that's what we used to do. It wasn't a case of putting it in tinfoil or anything, like put it in the fire. You just put them in the fire. And because they would be in the outside, they would just cook. Things like that. So we knew how to actually make water clean by boiling it and filtering it.
Yeah. But I will say I love the potato recipe you just described, because it does. It might just be my upbringing, but it does add a character to your dish. Having a little bit of charcoal potato on your platter. Exactly. There are a few items you will just spit out.
It was the same as one of the guys used to go hunting. He would bring rabbit in, and we'd be sitting eating the bits of rabbit he'd brought in, and we'd cooked on the stove, and we'd be sitting there on ding, because he had buckshot. So basically, it was stuff like that. It was a bit don't just go. It was a case of you had to eat it, and, right? That's a bit, and stuff like that. But we've gone through. I remember growing up when we went in the caravan. It wasn't a big luxury caravan. It was a caravan that was towed behind us, so there wasn't a cooker in it unless you had a Calagas.
Well, you mean a caravan? It wasn't a caravan behind you. It was a caravan behind you that you were actually hauling along.
Yes,
with
that's a caravan that you towed behind you. And if you were lucky, if you had a Cala gas stove in it, so you could make your stuff just using the Cala bottle, or if you had a 5-gallon, you had 2 or 3 5-gallon water that you could fill up before you got there, stuff like that. But nowadays, you go to caravan and then it's stationary, all wired in. So effectively, you're going to a cottage. They just call it a caravan. So,
have you seen the caravans today? I know we're literally going down the rabbit hole, but have you seen the caravans today that they're promoting on social media and Instagram? Where you literally are carrying a supercar underneath the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going along to whatever camping place you want to, and then you just pull out your Lamborghini and go off for racing across the countryside. They lost the plot on this. Going camping, going back to nature is so lost on people that are, I would say that they're buried, not brought up, they're buried in the concrete jungle. They think that if you go into the Scottish Highlands, you'll bring a Lamborghini to just cruise along and zip from Edinburgh to Glasgow to
I want to take it to a racetrack. You should get more fun out of that.
Well, we have fun outside our work. There's work across from us, and the guy comes in every day. He's either got his McLaren, his Porsche, his classic motorbike, or his Jeep. And we're sitting there thinking, the Jeep's the only one. Well, I'm saying the bike as well, but most people are saying the Jeep's the only thing I would drive anywhere near here, because any bumps in the other two, basically parts of your wings would rip off, because your McLaren's so low, you couldn't even actually get any speed out of it because the roads are that bad. You hit a bump, going at any speed. Nope.
Can I just say something? You know, Glastonbury's.
My friend loves glamping.
Yeah. You know, Glastonbury's going on at the moment?
Yeah.
What I've seen compared to what it used to be, you think, okay, it's more as a disaster as a glamping.
It is, because I remember my friends used to go the Tenants one in Strackley Park all the time. What they would do is go down and buy a cheap tent, and then they would get there, just fire it up, and then just walk away and leave it. because it was only there for that, just for somewhere to sleep. Sleeping bag and a tent, that was all they bought. It cost them maybe £15-20. Only needed it for 2-3 days instead of having to cart it backwards and forwards. Some of them brought it back because they know next year I'm going back again. So instead of having to pay £15-20 everything, they just basically rolled it up. But most people, it was easier just to get a tent, and it was just a case of they had a tent and a fire. They would all sit around at night cooking bits and pieces, just throwing in.
And some music festivals, where it chucked it down, but you still braved, the mud and the rain just to watch your favourite bands and that.
Yeah.
You don't get that anymore.
No, it's definitely not. It's crazy, crazy. But them were the good old days.
They were the good old days.
I used to go out playing with my pals, and my mum would be shouting out the window, "I'll be there! It's dinner time! In 5 minutes!" Or, "Wait, your brother! Oh, he's away down there somewhere." They basically, we wouldn't a case of, "Well, you've got me on a string, I can't get out the garden." And basically, we would, God knows where we were. Sometimes my mother would only send my sisters, "Go and get them." I don't know where they are. Oh, they're probably somewhere down in the forest.
I didn't like it when health and safety went completely nuts because you can't play conkers anymore. We can't play conkers anymore or do normal kids' games.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I remember doing the stupid stuff like Chapdor's Runaway, and you get caught, and you didn't want to get caught. It wasn't a case of they would kick you in the ass; they would tell your mother. Or really bad, they would tell your father, or your mother would say, "Wait till your father gets home." We'd actually see when my mother would say, "Wait till your father gets home." It didn't bother us. If my mother didn't say, "Wait till your father gets home," that meant she was going to deal with it. I was more freaking terrified of that.
I remember some family members told me about the days when they used to play on bomb sites just to make their own entertainment.
I played in building sites for years. Yeah. I grew up in building sites, mind you, because my dad used to do a lot of building, but there was building sites across from us. We would go over, nobody was stealing anything, they were just playing in the building sites. Yeah. The guys would come in and say, "Right, you lot get," and that was it. It's not a case of where's all our tools. They were all still lying there. It's just a case of we'd go over because it was a building site, we would play.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Nowadays, and a lot of my nephews and all that, they talk about, I don't need to go out. If I want to talk to my pals, I just do it while we're playing games. So they sit, headphones on, and just sit like we're doing. But they do that every day. Come in from school, straight online, playing their game, talking with their pals. He's not getting to play. This is our getting to play. This is our out to play.
I'm just going to mention something. In a certain episode with the current Doctor, and I think it was the first New Year special, they lost the internet, and they go, "Well, we're going to do now, talk." And the kids went, "Oh."
Yeah. I mean, you say to us at the time, what would be your worst day? A day I wasn't allowed to go out to play. Nowadays, what's your worst day? The internet. Yeah, I mean, that's the difference. I mean, I was different. Me and my brother were completely different. If I did something wrong, my mother would kick me out because I was in front of the TV all day, every day. Whereas my brother, he did anything wrong, he would be kept in because he was always out playing football. So me and my brother were completely different. If I did anything wrong, you out. I don't want to go out. My brother, you in. I don't want to come in.
I think you're right there, Wendy. We are turning this into the 4 Yorkshiremen.
When I was a lad.
Luxury.
I got up 4 hours before I went to my bed. Well, we definitely are. What can I say? And anyway, Yorkshire, Scots. Yeah.
Well, the Yorkshire folks are the ones
with a pair of boxing gloves on.
The Yorkshire folks are the ones that claims that they were never conquered by the Vikings, but they were multiple times.
The Scots have got a claim that they were never conquered by the Romans.
Yeah, you had your Hadrian's Wall, didn't you?
Yeah, we have also the Antonine Wall, but the Antonine Wall never was built with
But it's
grass
like
and
yay
wood.
high.
It was built with grass and wood. That's why it's gone. That's why most of it's gone, because it wasn't permanent. There was no way it was ever going to be permanent. Hadrian's Wall was built using rock, and it was because it wasn't a case. People think it was to keep the Picts out. It wasn't. It was to create a border for them that they could control, and that was what it is. They built it, and it was. That's why people say, but it was all. It wasn't. It had gates. It was to get tax. So Picts would come in, and Brits would go out to trade backwards and forwards. Call and go.
You're talking about walls here, and well, apparently walls are supposed to be racist and whatnot. So clearly, the Scottish people were racist, keeping the Romans out.
It was the Romans that built the wall. The Scots supplied the bricks and the material for free.
But it's still racist for some reason. I don't understand how it works, but apparently it was.
Yeah. I see. It's the hypocrisy of certain things. Like, for instance, they say things like, "Oh well, people can't vote because they can't get IDs and stuff like that, and you shouldn't ask them to supply their IDs to vote." Say, okay, so they can't drive. Oh no, they've got their IDs.
I can't even collect my British Post parcel, Royal Mail parcel, without a full photo
But that's the point. These are the people who say you should have a license to, you should have ID to go and collect a post, because that's really important. You need to actually prove who you are. But when you want to vote, they say, "Oh, you don't need ID." Why not? Well, people can't get ID, so they can't. You mean the people who everybody knows where to get their ID, to get they can drive, to get the post, to get the and that's the stupidness of it. But
I had to collect this bullshit.
But we're already gone, so we can't actually pull it here.
But I had to collect this bullshit behind me that is making me be on the stream tonight. Photo ID and a bank statement, so I could pull it out of Royal Mail Office depot.
Oh, I was okay. Yeah. It's just, up here, it's just as long as you get your ID, that's it.
And a bank statement. Cricky.
Yeah, a bank statement. I actually had to provide secondary. I could have provided rent.
They usually, some places used to, up here, they used to require 2 forms of ID. One of them had to be something with your name and address on it.
Yeah.
But
I had to get that. I can go and vote.
They don't
need anything.
It is absolutely crazy. Right. I'm going to change my drinking habits tonight. Where is it?
There's no more Iron Brew.
Never.
There's plenty of Iron Brew. I've even got an extra wee bottle here. But
Diet Coke.
I got a glass bottle. So, cheers.
Very nice.
I'm on the Coke.
I love it.
I've got mine. That's an ashtray.
Got them at Tesco. They're doing the meal deals, and you get 6 bottles as part of the meal deal. You can get that or wine, but because I don't drink wine, we only get 2 meal deals, one with wine, one without. For me, Coca-Cola. Glass bottles, yay! It's the only time I enjoy Coke is from a glass bottle. I don't know what the difference is. Weird.
That's why I drink out of a glass. That's the best thing for
it. There is differences in how a drink is presented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said you don't drink wine, but I can tell you, I do enjoy a lot of tipples across the board. Wine, red wine, white wine, vodkas, the whole deal. The glass they get presented in actually adds character to how you consume it.
The reason I don't drink wine, it's not because I don't like it, is I've got too much of an expensive palate. One of my friends years ago, I used to work beside, he loved his wine drinking. And he got an opportunity to bring someone in to do a wine tasting. So the guy comes in, and my friends, I love a glass of wine. So he gives us a glass, and I'm trying it. I'm going, it smells like vinegar. And I tried a bit, and it tasted like vinegar. And that's horrible. It's dead too. And he's going, wow, this is lovely. Nom, 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 nom. And then we went to the next one, and I thought, well, that smelled a wee bit better, but it's still quite dry, and I tasted and it's quite vinegary. And he's gone, smells nice. And then he brought the other one in, and I just smelt it, and it smelled delicious. Drank it, and I thought, this is really nice. I could drink this wine. And he's gone, I don't like this. So they says, well, the first bottle you looked at was £4 a bottle. The second bottle you looked at was £12 a bottle. And the third bottle you looked at was £30 a bottle. And I said, well, I ain't drinking wine. Because obviously I've got an expensive tasting wine. And there's no way on earth I'm paying £30 plus for a bottle of wine. Whereas he liked the cheap wine. So he was okay with that. So he bought 12 bottles of the cheap wine.
I've seen worse than that with bottles of wine.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying at the time. So you're talking about, that must have been about 15, maybe 20 years ago. It was £30 a bottle. And I'm sitting there thinking, I ain't drinking wine.
How much would it be worth today?
Because I've got an expensive taste for it, and I know I have. So I just don't touch the stuff. But that's just me. I do have a palate, and I can smell wine, and I can actually smell what it's like, and I can with the taste. But I've obviously got a too discerning palate. But it's not me. Anytime I drink wine, which I have once or twice when I've got really good stuff, it knocks me for six, and I can't even remember what happens that night. I could have half a bottle of wine and can't remember what happened. I remember once I was at when my friend had taken us to Celtic Park. He had a box, so we went to Celtic Park, and he says, "Do you want some wine?" I says, "No, I don't like wine because I've got too expensive." He says, "The wine's free." So we tried one. We told the guy what we were looking for, and the guy brought us a bottle. And I can remember starting to drink the wine. Next morning when I woke up, I had no glasses, nothing. And he's going, it could have been any of the pubs we were in because you were dancing on the tables. Really? He says, He says, have you been in any of those Celtic bars before? I said, no, I'm no one for going into any of the football bars, Rangers, Celtic, or anything like that. And he goes, well, the way you were acting, as if you'd been in there every day for the last 4 years, talking to everybody as if you knew them all. That's wine for you, obviously. So obviously, I'm not. Wine doesn't actually do well for me because I don't even know what's happening. So
I'm going to have to admit that I do like my drink.
I enjoy my Jack Daniels, my
exactly,
rum.
but more often than not, I actually put it into when I make a dish, a spag bowl, a
spaghetti
lasagna.
bolognese is not called spag bowl. I hate that.
But a spag bowl is actually not a bolognese. A spag bowl is spaghetti and bolognese. A proper bolognese, you should actually have the dried thin strips. I think they're called tagliatelle.
Tagliatelle, yeah. I love tagliatelle carbonara. I just hate the expression spag bowl.
No, a spag bowl is the dirt cheap. You can buy it pre-prepped, and you can actually make it at home, but it's just using the thin strands of pastas. A proper bolognese should have tagliatelle because it coats more of the sauce because it's thicker strips and it makes the flavor greater.
I constantly have this argument with a lot of people. All pasta's the same, they taste the same, it's just different shapes. And I keep on trying to explain to them. No, it's not. No, it's not. They all taste different. I love spaghetti. I love tagliatelle, but I only like tagliatelle with a carbonara sauce. Don't like but I can have penny carbonara or I can have penny spaghetti penny. But for our family recipe, which is a tomato based, I can only take it with spaghetti. If I have no spaghetti, I can take it with penny, but nothing else. However, I can have macaroni or spiraled or it begins with an F. It's
Tarantielli or whatever they call
yeah.
it.
I can have them as a macaroni with a I don't like mayonnaise, so I have it with a salad cream type dressing, and I just love that. And people say, but it's all the same. No, it's not.
No, it is not. And I will shoot anyone going fresh pasta is better. No. Bam. You need dry pasta,
pasta
for a
has to be
lot of
dried.
the Italian dishes.
Yeah, it has to be dried. And yes, different sauces, differently, and textures. It's all to do with that. I do love a lot of different. One thing I used to hate, believe it or not, was lasagna. Could not take lasagna. I don't know why. Went for years, and then we went to a family member's house the first time I'd met my wife's family, and they invited us up, and they says, "You like this being Italian?" Lasagna, and I says, "I don't like lasagna," and my wife went as if to say, "Just eat it." And I says, "No, I'm no one to say I don't. I'll just eat something. And go, oh, that was lovely. I'll tell people I don't like lasagna." And I says, however, she says, "I'll make you something else." I says, "No, don't be silly. I'll still have a bit, but it's not my favourite, so don't expect me to be overly gushy about it. It's just a case of just so you're aware." And she says, "That's fine. Next time you're invited down." And then after I had it, and she says, "How did you think?" I says, "I can honestly say that was the best lasagna I'd ever tasted." And I've told her since I tried her lasagna, I'm quite happy to eat lasagna now, because whatever it was, it put me off lasagna for all those years. That night changed how it is, because her lasagna was delicious. I've never tasted a nicer lasagna. However, I do enjoy lasagna now, and it's weird because something must have happened years back with my family making something. Whereas my aunt, accordingly to everybody, makes a fantastic lasagna, but I still not tried it because up until that time I never liked lasagna, so I never touched it.
I'm currently on the mission because I love when it comes to pizzas, and yes, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with ham and pineapple and whatnot. It's the basic, simple calzone pizza, which is basically a pizza folded over on top of itself.
I'm not a big fan of calzone. I'm not a big fan.
But no. This is where I understand why nobody on this island, and I've been in Scotland, I've been in Northern Ireland and Ireland. By the way, for the people that don't know, Ireland and Northern Ireland is different. I've been in Wales. Nobody can make a proper calzone pizza, a proper folded over calzone pizza, and I'm on the hunt for a proper Italian pasta sauce, because I believe it's a pasta sauce, not a pizza sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pasta sauce, but I still haven't found it.
Yep. I'm not a big fan of but do you know I'm a big ham and pineapple pizza. I love a Hawaii. But do you know the best pizza? Do you know the best pizza? A Donna meat pizza.
That is actually, we're getting back to the calzone, because what you do.
Oh, they do. Our Indian does calzone, Donna meat calzone, basically, but I just don't like calzone, so I never get it. But I'll get a Donna meat.
Yeah,
pizza.
but what they do is essentially they overload it with salad, the cream, the chili sauce, and everything, and fold it into a calzone pizza. And even the food experts, like the people that do the binge eating, they just goes like halfway down the pizza. It's like, oh, I can't do this. I need a doggy bag.
No, but Kelly's doesn't like me because I don't like calzone.
Oh,
But the
I
thing
like
is,
you. I like you, Kelly.
my nephew, every time he loves, there's an Indian restaurant the takeaway near him, and he says it does the best calzone he's ever had. And every time he's saying it, he'll get it. But me, I still won't get it because calzone just don't do it for me. And I know fine well I might get the calzone that he likes and I taste it, and it might change the same as the lasagna did. But I'm at that point, I don't need to, because if I'm going there, there's so many other things that I can have. It's only when I've got nothing else to eat, I'll try something I don't like. And I can't help myself for that. I'm a fussy.
Well, for me, a kebab pizza with proper condiments, so extra tomatoes and tomato sauce, cheese, wins it every day. And I can hear people getting hungry in the chat.
I'm
here,
hungry
in the
now.
panel.
You know what? One pizza I've tried, and I always thought when somebody told me about it, I thought, I'm going to hate that. That sounds disgusting. A tuna pizza.
No, thank you. That
I
just
did that.
great.
Tuna pizza
I
and
tried
olives.
it, and I loved
and
it. Every time we
anchovies.
got a
Olives
tuna
are
pizza,
nice.
I would nick a.
I
would
do
nick
like
a
olives
half
on
slice.
pizza.
And like what? When
Olives, I don't mind. Fish, no thanks. I know you can get anchovies, but I was never big on those.
Oh, the very
So,
first time
if I
met
jump
my
in
wife's
first here,
aunt,
when it is anchovies, you can have them as either chunks, so it's like, or you get an overload of them.
Yeah.
But if the pizza parlor is clever, they will blend it in, so you get the salty flavor, because you can't tell that it's anchovies if it's properly cooked in.
Yeah. Has anybody actually ever tried an ice cream maker? I've never tried it, but
No, I saw that
one of my
comment. Yeah,
friends got
disaster.
one, and she
I've never
loved it.
done it. I've been curious about it, but I no idea.
Yeah.
I'm
I have no
on
idea
the
if I've tried it.
exploration
Sounds like a
route
job
as
for
well.
YouTube.
Yes. I'm just laughing at this next one.
Somebody is jumping off the cliff.
I'm sorry,
I'm with,
Kelly.
I'm with
just
Gary
wrong.
Neurotic on this one. Pineapple and pizza is just the bee's knees.
Yeah, it is the business, but I will bring it back just to the simple construction of it. Ham and pineapple in any dish works because they have the salt and the sweet combination. One of my favorite dishes is actually not a pineapple pizza. It is a coconut noodle, pineapple, and ham stew that has been cooked for hours.
If I had one dish that I had to have for the rest of my life, it would be a king rib. A king rib supper. I could eat that, or else a deep fried pizza. Talking about unhealthy. And see, Sadaka is saying Pizza Express sometimes put an egg in the pizza. There's a restaurant in Glasgow, when you go in, order a pizza, there's an egg on it by default. A fried egg.
I haven't seen that here in south of England, but back in Scandinavia, we had a simple pizza sauce, cheese, and then there was an egg on top of it, and they just drizzle it with Tabasco.
Yeah.
That was called a Big Ben, and holy crap, it was on fire when you were eating it.
Well, see, I'm one. There's a lot of different pizzas, but no matter what pizza I get, be it my favorite one. If I'm looking at favorite pizzas, I love pineapple pizza, but the Donna meat one, with extra cheese. I love extra cheese on anything. The dinosaur in me. Yep. I'm saying nothing. But even things like sausage, mushroom, pepperoni, I love pizzas. I hate, I like a good King Wenceslas pizza. Yeah, I mean, deep pan, crisp and even. I don't like flat one. I don't like a thin crust, nice thick crust pizza.
You see, I'm on the opposite spectrum. I like a lot of content,
Oh, Jesus.
but a thin crust. Whether it's calzone or a normal one, I want more of the flavor and the condiments than I want of the pizza dough.
I like the opposite. If you've ever been to New York City or Southern New York, try a piece of Sicilian pizza. My mouth waters just saying the word because I haven't had a piece of Sicilian pizza since I've been in New York, since I moved from New York. And
The last
it's
time
one
I
of
went
those
to New
things that
York,
it'd be almost like buying like an 800 pound ticket.
I went to New York, and
piece
when
of
we were in
Sicilian
New
pie.
York, we went down to Little Italy, and yes, a Sicilian pizza. I had one in. Nice, nice crispy one. Oh, it was absolutely delicious.
I
I've
have to.
never been
I
to
have to.
Chicago. The nearest I got to Chicago was over at the East End. We went to Vegas, and there was different restaurants, but there were currently Chicago ones. There was Philadelphia restaurants and stuff like that. So I got a Philly cheesesteak, and but I don't know what they're like. All I can remember is what they were like in the restaurants around that were Chicago one or something. The worst one I had, it was really annoyed me because we went to the hotel because we were starving. We decided, oh, we'll go to a Pizza Hut, and it was it Papa John's? No, it wasn't. It was a burger place. Johnny Rockets, and we just got 2 burgers, one with fries, one with onions. One of them was a double burger, and it cost us $50, and it tasted no any better than a McDonald's. And I was sitting, see, since then I've never been back, never wanted to go to Johnny Rockets anything. Yet people kept telling me it was great.
Well, no, I absolutely agree with that. You do get the tourist traps. The Sicilian pizza, yes, absolutely 100%.
Oh yes.
But I would say if you think that is good pizza, you should go to Scandinavia because they're not retail chained. These are literally mom and pops pizzerias popping up all over the place.
And that's
In
why I
Iceland, in Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, just go to one of these pizzerias and try. Just go wild or go safe, but just try it because these people know how to make proper pizzas. And yes, I know because of Hollywood pop culture and everything, everybody says you have to go to New York to get a really great pizza. I agree to a certain point that it's true, but there are pizzas made better elsewhere. And when it comes to the most basic pizza ever, you have to go to Italy for just a basic tomato, mozzarella, and a couple of slices of basil.
I must admit, when we were in Italy, I tried a bit of pizza and I was not impressed with it at all. Not.
Were you in the south or north?
Venice.
North, then.
I've been in the south as well. I was down at Sorrento, but that was years back, and I wasn't impressed with the food there either. But the thing is, the best food I tasted in Venice, believe it or not, was Chinese. Wontons and everything, because I'd never tried wontons or puddings, dumplings, and we tried them in Venice. And a traditional Chinese restaurant in Venice, and Oh, see, anytime we see dumplings and all that here, we always try them, and they're never as good as the one in Venice.
Oh, the
I'll-
Chinese food from Manhattan. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'll give you, PJ, even one more that is even crazier than yours. It is the fact that I grew up, well, didn't grow up. It was occasionally, like once every 9 months. So, like once a year, maybe twice a year, McDonald's burgers and fries. And then I got enough money and I flew down to London
Hi, John.
and went to McDonald's, and the fries were literally scorching hot. They were like fresh out of the fryer. And I was like, hey, this is actually really great tasting food.
Yeah.
Whereas I got cold, soggy, sloppy crap when I was growing up. It's like, okay, McDonald's, okay, you're famous, but your food is shit. And then you fly down to London, and it's like, okay, this is better, really, really better.
Yeah. I'm starting to get hungry. Usually, I was out for a all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet at the Beijing Palace, and it is absolutely amazing. The food is so freshly made; it's delicious. And I thought, well, I'll not be hungry tonight. I'm so wrong. I'm starving.
Yeah. Kelly NCH will get this.
Yeah.
If they don't have chow fun noodles, I'm not interested. Go away.
Anytime I go somewhere, I always try what's traditional, as in stuff that I saw. And I call it my TV menu, because you know what it's like. You go to, so when I was in the States, different places. So I went into a diner, and when I went into a diner, first thing I got was bacon on the side and a refill coffee. I had other stuff when I was in different diners, but the very first time I went in, it's because traditionally you hear about it on the TV and all saw that. But I wanted a bit of pizza, not a pizza, a slice of pizza that was like that size. So you stand there, you see them when they get them. You see the guys on the TV. They pick up the pizza, and it's as long as their arm, and that is just one slice of it.
You wanted the Instagram photo.
Yeah, I did that when I was in Hollywood, standing there with a big bit of pizza because they were selling the big.
That's it. Next week for the show, I'm ordering a pizza.
I'm going to do an Odin. But I know it's basically the idea. But see, when we were in Moscow, we got Borscht. When we were in Prague, can't remember what it was, but it was like a red cabbage. Oh, that was absolutely delicious. When New York, we went Little Italy and got Sicilian. We tried different bits and pieces. Anytime, even when we were walking through Central Park, there was a thing. And my wife says, "What are you going over there? You just had something." A dog with everything on it. She says, "But you only like mustard in yours." I says, but no, when I'm walking through Central Park, because I've seen that in the deli. It's my TV. It's my TV menu. It's basically things that I saw on the TV. I've always wanted to try. Anytime I see something in the telly, I think, "Oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that." Same as the pretzel. Over here, you couldn't get them, the big pretzels. You can now, but at the time you couldn't. So the first time I went to the States, I'm walking through Central Park, a dog with everything on it and a pretzel. And my wife goes, "Jeez, yeah, no." It's the way I want to do it. It's the same as in any place I want to go. So when I was in France, tried snails, didn't like it. But I've tried different things which were traditional, but it was only because I saw them on the TV.
But you do try stuff, yeah. You do try stuff when you're in a new place.
Yeah,
I get that.
And my biggest, I'm
not trying that.
Because I grew up, because my dad my mum used to call me a square eyes, because when I would come in from school, sit in front of the TV, wake up in the morning, sit in front of the TV, right up until I went to my bed. I never went out to play. I was square eyes. I was in front of the TV all the time. So my dad used to call me a TV Jenny, because my mum used to drink tea all the time, so she was a tea Jenny, but I was a TV Jenny. My mum used to call me square eyes, and so I grew up watching all these programs and seeing all these people, these food on TV, and I'm thinking, if I ever go to America, I want to try that. If I ever go there, I want to try that. If I ever go there, and it was literally some of them you're going, don't know why they like it, but I still had to try it just for the simple fact is I grew up watching it. So there's some things I want to try. Like the Philly cheese steak, I tried that in New York, and it was nice, but I've always been told no, it's no nice unless it's in Philadelphia. And I want to try it. So if I ever go to Philadelphia or go anywhere else, I'm going to try the things that are known, and that's the thing. I always am the same, and I'm absolutely starving now.
Yeah.
It's all our fault, but how about we moving into the pick of the week? And I do need a minute or two, so someone else will have to go first, so I can collect my
I'll go
items.
first, man.
Right, wait a minute. So what you're saying is you want to do pick of the week. Do you want me to go first? Because there's a couple of things I'm desperate to show.
Go on then.
Right.
Bring it on.
Okay.
I'll start off with the stuff that I showed on the Wednesday's Rathacan, because these I'd got years ago, and I gave them to my father-in-law. So his badge.
What is it? Oh, it's a badge.
It's his badge.
Oh, nice.
You saw that?
Yeah.
So that's still in the box. So I taken it out of the box and put batteries in it just so I made work. And I got him that. That's a full size one. Right. And also the tricorder, which is a third size. It's not the actual full size. It all works. It's all working. And communicate. So I got my father-in-law these. So when we were doing Comic Cons, he was a big Star Trek fan. So we're no longer just so they're all still in the box and they're all still working. So look at that. When
That's
it was
awesome.
initially, when it was fresh, £14.99. God knows how much it would be cost to actually purchase it now, still in the box.
Yeah.
And still working. So those were things that I'd got, and I'd shown them in Rathacan because I'd taken them out of the box and I was playing with them. However, I picked up some books, which is unusual for me, but I couldn't resist the box set.
Oh, nice.
7 books. The box
Very
set.
nice.
And I just thought, I'm having that. It only cost me £2. I thought, excellent. I will eventually read it. I might, when I'm having to travel for work again, I'll start Lord of the Rings again. Because when I did read Lord of the Rings, it was boring because see all these big words? I can't read. I've got a couple of DVDs as well. And I've sat and watched Red and Red 2. I love these movies.
I've not seen those.
I love Helen
ones.
Miller's character. She is absolutely amazing. That she's a sniper. John Malkovich is hilarious in both of them as well. Bruce Willis is good, and what's the girl's name? I can't even remember the girl's name. But if you've never seen Red or Red 2, I would definitely recommend them. They are fantastic movies. Old time spies, CIA operatives out to pasture but getting dragged back in. And the last DVD I've got is this.
Hey.
Million Ways to Die in the West. I quite enjoy this. I've seen this a number of times and I picked up the DVD. So I'm looking forward to the extras, but this is my favourite. This is the thing that I picked up in Aldi. Just a bog standard chain.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I want that. I want it.
That is so...
I want it.
What snake is that?
Don't
How's
panic.
that? Oh,
Mr. Speaker, I don't like it up.
As soon as I saw it, I thought, I'm having that because I've got all the Dad's Army, I've got all the movies, I've got the bobbleheads, and then I saw Jonesy and I thought, I'm having him.
Oh,
Aldi.
that is cool.
It is, and it's
Is that what it's meant to be?
Handy Hawk. He does all. It's all Jones's stuff.
Permission to speak, sir.
Permission to speak, sir.
I don't like it up.
They don't like it up 'em.
Mr. Mandarin.
It's just absolutely superb. I've been playing this every day since I got it. I can't stop myself every time I put it. Click. Don't panic. Even my dog like it. He thinks it's a toy for them. I have to keep it up high because anytime my dogs get it, he thinks it's a toy for him. Listen to him.
Oh God, yeah.
Sounds like that someone
He
just
thinks
doing
it's
the
a toy
lines.
for
They haven't
him.
even
So he does.
sampled Clive Dunn.
Mm-hmm. So every time I've got it, I have to make sure it doesn't go anywhere near the dogs can get it because they think it's because it's a soft toy. It's for them and it makes noises. So they think, oh, a squeaky toy for us. Nope. Nope. But I absolutely love it. It's my favourite thing that I bought. No matter all the other things that I've bought, that as a big kid is my favourite. Jonesy. Can't help myself. I'm an old git, and I'm okay with it being an old git. So that's basically I obviously got my Ash v the Evil Dead stuff, but I did the box opening, so you have seen those two. I got them last during the week, and I love them. These two figures are enormous figures. One of them's up there, just up there, see them, and the other one's up there. But they're too heavy to actually lift down the way. They're quite heavy, and they're perfect. And there's other stuff that I'm purchasing for next week, so that'll be a nice surprise if I get them in time. So, but that's my favourite. That's my Jonesy. He's just
That is great. That is.
I love
That's like.
Jonesy. Handy Hook. It's just superb. They had the only other thing they had was a Del Trotter's van. They didn't have Del. They had a van. They had the Robin Reliant van. But I thought, can't you imagine if they had a Del, I might have picked him up as well. But they had him and just sitting there. Superb. Look at that face.
I didn't even know they made those. That is cool.
Neither did I. Aldi, which is just one of these. You've got Aldi and Lidl, the two.
Yeah, we have an Aldi's near us.
Yeah. I just love it, but it's basically he's sitting there now from now on, so I can go boop, boop, and play with him every day. So that's why I was trying to be careful, not play with my soft toy. So, but that's what I got. I did pick up a couple of wee bits and pieces, but they were unimportant stuff, and they're all away. But how did you like that, my Jonesy? I love my Jonesy. So that's me. That's everything I got. And the one thing I was wanting to show everybody, all the other stuff was nice, was Jonesy. Because as a big kid, I'm happy with Jonesy. Right, that's me done. And there's Sadako. Hiya.
Hey!
Hello, all.
Hey, how you doing, Sadako?
I'm not too bad. Just been for a walk.
Oh, nice.
I've got some stuff to show.
Excellent. So who's next anyway? That's me completed.
Do you mind if I go next? Because I'm kind of hanging today. We've had a bit of a crazy one today. Cool.
Right.
Hang on. Let me.
Hey, John.
There we are. This one we had planned to get, but we've been kind of just not got around to it. We weren't sure if the local B&M had it, but we did finally.
Yep. Oh, is that?
Oh,
A1.
Wow! I've not got that one.
It was a magnificent machine, capable of great good and great evil.
Yeah, I absolutely love that because I've got.
I love this story. This is such a great story. Yeah.
Do you know, Stephen, I got my Eagle Moss stuff. For some reason, they sent me 4 of them.
Oh my God.
I've got 2 of them still here and 2 I gave away to friends. I got 4 of them and I only paid for 1.
Oh my God, that's pretty cool. We went into the TV and movie store near us and they had like a That's not where we got the robots head. That we got that in B&M.
Oh,
But
excellent.
the
Yeah,
TV
that's
movie
fine.
store had like a.
Look, and I've still no came across that. I've never came across that one.
Yeah, we looked. We've been looking for it, and it hadn't turned up the last time we were in there. And we took a chance earlier this week, and they had them, so we grabbed it. And it was even marked down a couple of quid, so that wasn't bad. Then in the TV and movie store, they had a discount section of stuff that either the packaging was damaged or something like that. So we picked up the 3 Corgi Daleks.
Oh, excellent.
Really?
The box is knackered, as you can see. The
It
box
would
is
be.
really, really knackered, but they were originally marked $24.99, which is a bit dear for Corgi, but I don't know exactly what Corgi retails for. I know of the brand, I know it, well, but they had it marked down to about 9 quid. So
I would have jumped at that.
So we grabbed
even
those.
if you actually got them without the box, I would have jumped at 9 quid for it.
Yeah. Well, it was Corgi as well, and we were like, "Ooh, that's cool." We haven't got any of those.
At least they're old enough to have a decent logo on them.
And really, I've never tried a Knish. Never.
Oh, they're lovely.
I need to try them.
We went. The last thing we got was we hit pretty much every charity shop earlier this week because I was off, so we had some time to have a wander. And one of the charity shops was more like furniture, but we realized they had like a DVD section, and I don't know who that one was, but we got Little Britain. We figured we'd grab that because they seem to be banning that all over the place. So
Oh yeah.
So we nabbed that.
That's only because he's the only guy in the village.
Yeah. It's just, and of course it's narrated by Tom, so you have to have that. It's narrated by Tom.
John,
because they were
you can
doing-
ask the question. We're okay with questions, especially if it's only for Jim.
I might have missed that one.
Yeah. Kelly, yes, he's Dad's Army, Corporal Jones.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what he is. Dad's Army, Corporal Jones. I love it.
Funny
The only
goodness.
other 2 DVDs that were there, it was kind of one of those, get 3, get them, 50 each or 3 for £1. So we couldn't find really anything else for the other 2. But I did spot these, and I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan. And I haven't, believe it or not, I haven't got any of the films yet.
Which one's that? Is that the
This
first?
one is Black Pearl.
Oh,
See,
oh,
Johnny
these are very-
Depp was great. The very first movie, it was just perfectly done.
I know. I love his Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and this is the Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah. I think
So-
I like the
Those are
first
fun.
4. The first 3 definitely. The 4th one I'm not entirely sure.
And then one of them is
I like the
a
first one.
collector's edition. This one, the Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl, has 10 hours of extras, including a DVD ROM feature,
Oh,
whatever
excellent.
that means.
Wen, can I ask a possibly dumb question? Have you ever been on the ride at Disney World?
Which Disney World in?
Well, any usually they each there's like one in LA. They've got one in the Paris Disney World Paris. They've got one. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
No, I haven't, because I haven't been to Disney. I used to go to a couple times. I've been to Disney World in Florida, but that was like a
Oh.
long time ago.
Yeah, they didn't have it. Or
But
did
they
you go on it?
wouldn't have had it then. Yeah, it was like a really, really long time ago. So no, I haven't. I haven't been on that one.
It is worth going to if you can.
But I do have a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'd love that ride. I do have a photo when on our honeymoon we went down to London. We went into Madame Tussauds, and they had a really awesome wax of Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. So I have a cheeky a cheeky photo with Johnny Depp from Madame Tussauds, which I absolutely cherish.
Yeah, I'm not
Too bad it
surprised.
wasn't the real thing, but So
just-
that's us. That's us for
Right.
this week.
Well, what I'm going to do is, just because of that, we were talking earlier on. Didn't realise I had that. We were obviously talking earlier on, and one of my friends is. I need to actually cancel that. I need to save this picture first. I'm downloading it. There you go. And it's just so I can show this without actually showing my friend's name and his contact details, because it's actually in WhatsApp. We saw this. Here you go. I'm going to share this. One of my friends is selling his extras, shall we say, and that was one of the ones it came through. So let's see if there you go.
Nice.
Johnny Depp.
Oh my
Right.
god!
How much did that
yeah.
cost?
I've not got the price yet.
Ooh, that would be nice.
So that's one of the things. It's on these lists to sell. There's a few other things that I'm definitely getting. There's a few I want but I can't afford because they're just beyond my price range. But that one I thought just looked cool because I was definitely tempted to get it. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh yeah, I just love those films. They're great. They're great fun, and it ain't Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny. So if they think they're gonna, you know, if they think they're gonna start, keep it going without him, they can get lost.
It'll be Pirates.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, not Pirates of the Caribbean. It'll be Pirates different. It'll always be different. It'll be like Star Wars compared to Disney Star Wars.
Yep.
There'll always be something.
There's only one Captain Jack Sparrow, and it ain't worth watching if he's not in it.
Exactly.
Isn't he going to be played by Margot Robbie in the new movie?
Oh, God,
Amber Heard.
Even worse.
Amber Heard's going to play Captain Jack in the new movie.
Oh god!
No, I thought they were supposed to be making an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean.
But I think it was
all-female Ghostbusters.
They've already made an all-female Pirates, and it was I think it was a porno, according to Gary and Neurotic.
Yeah.
It was accordingly one of the most expensive pornos ever made.
Extant Rule 34. How they not? I thought they were going to be making. I saw some. You were supposed to be making an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean or female-led Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's the plan at the moment.
Because there were, as we know, so many real-life female pirates that we can actually name them on the fingers of one hand. And Bonnie. In fact, I think I can name the well-known female pirates, real-life female pirates, on the thumb of one hand.
See, I couldn't tell you any other pilots, never mind female pilots or male pilots. Basically, unless you're actually you're talking about ones that were been in movies, like the Battle of Britain or things like that. But that's the only time I can ever remember the pilots' names. It's because I've seen them in a movie. But I do like my war stuff, but mine's
that's an interesting
usually
question. That's an interesting film. A film about people who steer ships into harbour in Central America. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, basically,
it's a cheeky name for it because you do have in maritime the people that are actually pilots, not captains. The people that are pilots, they are the ones that know that specific geographical location of how the maritime and channels and whatever it is, they have that, so they know how to not run your ship aground.
But anyway, see, most of my knockoff DVDs come from the Caribbean. They were all from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
All from Tortuga, huh?
I know. Terrible. It was a crap joke. But what can you say? What can you say? Tell us what you say.
Yeah, Mr. Mandarin.
Wow. Anyway, very good. Went. I must admit.
Well, it was just nice to. It was just nice to have something, because it's just been quite a few weeks where we haven't had the time. But I was off this week, so we had a sneaky trip into town on Monday, and we hit some good deals. So we were glad to come home with that stuff. Who's that with you now?
Both of them.
Oh, both now, yeah.
Both of them wanted up because
Archie, you bad boy.
You got double trouble there, dude.
Yeah, Buddy and Benji just wanted to come up and say hello. Like,
No.
can I get some peace and quiet? I just even sit there.
The laddies of the Caribbean.
You're asking for peace and quiet from these two troublemakers.
Yeah.
That's-
So who's been doing their exercises then?
Oh my god.
And I thought my joke-
that's about my exercise for the day.
I thought
Yeah.
my- but
Is it my
I
turn?
lifted a beer earlier. That'll do.
It's possible I'll go next because I only got one this week anyway.
Yep.
You go ahead, Alex, and I'll do the next.
Oh, okay. I'll be last then.
Yep.
Okay. Right. I just went out and bought. I got this earlier this week. You want to blow it up, please, PJ?
Yeah, I can't see it. I can't make out the title.
Hey, Stop like
Ooh, wait a minute. PJ,
come on.
No.
There you go.
No, Ron.
Now,
Here we go. It's a documentary about Sterling Road where they made the entire franchises of the Jerry Anson programs.
Yes, you mentioned that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
it's
nice.
absolutely brilliant 35-minute documentary. I'm going to drop the link to their website in the chat in a second, but it's absolutely brilliant and is well recommended before they actually knock the building down.
Is
So-
it only available on Blu-ray or is it DVD as well?
I think so. I'm not too sure, but I've just dropped the link in the chat if you want to take a look. But it's not just this they do. They also did the 50th anniversary specials of Thunderbirds. Plus, also they have got the new series Nebula 75 out also available.
I've been watching Nebula 75. It's on my watch list for YouTube. I have got the saved the playlist.
But what I can say is that it's a great shame that this building is gone. And Colin knows what I'm talking about because Colin was around that area at the time, wasn't you, Colin?
Right,
Don't
you
get
two.
me started.
Okay.
Thanks for the link.
No
I'll
problem.
just add that in.
Right, come on, you two. Down.
okay, cheers for the link. It's definitely a good one for the collection.
Oh,
Definitely.
yes. Well worth the price.
Very good. There you go. Very good.
Right. So I'm next. I don't
Yep,
need to
you're-
be on big screen for the first two.
With that shave, we make it a reflection.
I'll begin with this one.
Wanted.
Oh, yes.
Angelina Jolie, really well played. Definitely,
Knows how to bend a bullet.
yes, like fire a bullet and make it twist around the corner. I love that.
That's the
about
one
this
she do.
film.
Basically, she
They
shoots on
tried it
the up.
on Mythbusters and it didn't work.
That's the one she shoots on the up, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, what's the plot of the film? I've not seen it, you see, I've not heard of it.
The plot of the film is just to kill a lot of people.
All right. Like everything, then.
I'm sorry to say, I couldn't care less about the people.
It's Angelina Jolie.
Well, it is not really. She's actually a mentor
Yeah.
to a
Okay.
character in the film, but his character arc is just, But the
Well, it's
action
actually based
part
on-
of it,
So it's more of like just an action, like
Yeah,
a
it was
cool
actually
action
based
film.
on a comic.
yes.
was
So
based
it's
on the comic.
basically, I don't even know how to translate it. It has Angelina Jolie. She's cool. She's kicking butt. But what the story is about, I don't know.
Probably the
Sorry
one
to
that
say.
she trains people and somebody's after her because she trained the wrong one or something like that.
No. What it's about this guy. He lives an everyday life, all this and that. His girlfriend's cheating on him, and then he finds out he's like his father was an assassin, and he must like take on that mantle. And they train him up and all this and that. And in the end, they all betray him.
They tried to tell that story, but
Yeah.
at the end, it doesn't seem to care. It's
I know.
like, meh.
Like, it's the same as anything else, like smoking aces and stuff like that. It's just
And all I
killing
can-
for the sake of killing. The basic premise is
Yeah.
all you need.
And all I can say, you have a small part from Chris Pratt before became Chris Pratt. What you know today.
The second one is, I believe I've shown the individual collector's editions as single packs, but now I have the complete box set of
The Riddick.
Yes.
I've got the box set. The three of them.
yes, this is exactly what it is. It's
I love
got
Pitch
the texture and
Oh,
everything.
once.
Yeah.
I actually liked all three of them.
God,
the
the
third one
three
was
movies.
good.
Bloody hell.
So,
Because
so
it was
did I.
Pitch Black, The Chronicles of Riddick, and
Riddick.
Riddick. Riddick.
Yep.
I liked
For-
all three of them. They were actually entertaining. They didn't actually go over the top. It's a sequel, so we now need to do this. It was just basically Vin Diesel being Riddick again. And then you had
Eh,
Paul
very good
Bean
story.
with the Underhive and
Because
stuff
there were
like
two
that.
animations based around it.
But
Yeah.
it
I've
was
got the
still
animations, but I've
amazing.
not got them in DVD.
But the next one, PJ, you need to bring me up on the big screen.
Right.
Who, Mrs.
Do I have to get the sign out?
I hate to give money to the mouse, but I just had to get this one.
Mickey
And it
Mouse.
was a completely
Mickey
random
Mouse.
find on at Sainsbury's.
Who's the leader of the gang?
Oh,
If you
yes,
would be
that's
MIC,
Yeah. But don't worry,
KY,
That's a commemorative tin as well, isn't it?
Jim, you'll need to actually drink
Nice.
that with a funnel because you'll keep missing your mouth.
Probably I am, but you get
Oh, and a
it
glass
with.
as well. Don't drop it.
Don't drop it.
No wonder.
Oh no! I planned this.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
That's
not
worth it.
only that, you get.
And it's proper stormtroopers? Yeah.
Well, I hope that doesn't mean you miss each shot.
Oh no! It's a pint. It's not a shot, so therefore you won't
You can
miss.
say,
Ah,
But
No wonder they
even
kept
so,
missing. They're all on
it
that.
was
Very
an
nice.
absolutely
No,
random
that
find
is
at
that is cool.
Sainsbury's.
Yeah,
That is
we
definitely
didn't
a
have
cool
that
one.
as well, yeah.
There's nothing
Oh,
like an
yeah.
image.
Even the
There's not-
even the just the tin. It's just
Yeah. Tin
it's
is cool.
prepared.
There's nothing like an image of a load of drunk stormtroopers.
Yep.
What,
who's the leader?
you hit it on the nail, Alex. Why do you think they don't hit anything?
Yeah.
I can tell it's because they can't stand up properly.
No wonder that one.
Hey, that's probably why they can't shoot straight. They've probably been on the Stormtrooper beer.
Yeah. No wonder that one in episode in A New Hope whacked his head against the door.
Yeah, very cool. I must admit that is just cool. Right, next.
Archer Colin, you got anything or not?
Nah, I don't
You
do
want is this
collections.
gonna
Okay, it's my turn then.
Let's see what you got.
well, Colin's put this up. Is you put that up for a reason, Colin?
Yeah,
For sitting in the
you were
corner?
talking about that that film, that is actually a real design of a German gun for actually shooting around corners that works.
Wow.
Supposedly works.
There's an Israeli gun. It's the
Yep.
one where you basically go.
Yeah, I was going to say there's stacks and stacks and stacks of modern pictures of the modern design on that as well.
Yeah.
When I put it in,
But
that's a
just goes to show,
Krumlauf
'cause
Drei.
they always had weird things that they tried to
sorry.
do.
I just killed it.
But yeah,
Well, let's see
they
what-
always had weird stuff that they tried to do with guns.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, Sadako.
Right, my turn, and this is a recommendation from Daniel and Charlotte.
Oh,
Oh, superb.
I think Wendell already knows what this is already.
All right. Line
oh
of Duty,
yes.
well, they have been doing Line
Nice
of
one.
Duty, so they have all the way through.
Yeah, we're up to series 5
That's-
now, and that's the one
Yeah.
I started.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I have to watch the second episode of series 5. It's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've not watched.
I did. It wasn't.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Sadako.
No, I've not watched episode 2 yet. I've been good. I've been saving like the thrills for later.
Yes, and me. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. It's not a series that I would have like gone out of my way to watch necessarily. Although I do love cop dramas. You know, obviously a huge fan of the Gov and then the follow-up Ashes to Ashes and all that. But I love lots of cop dramas, but I wasn't sure if I was sort of like burnt out on them, you know. And then Daniel and Charlotte were talking about Line of Duty, and I started watching it, and it's awesome. It's really, really well done. The pacing is fantastic for most of the series. There's, you know, the series that was just before, I think it was series 4, was a little bit not as fast paced as some of the other ones. It wasn't bad, but most of the time it's like you're literally on the edge of your seat watching it to see what's going to happen. It's really good.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
Daniel's been
definitely
trying to get me to watch it, but it's no my genre.
Yeah, series 4
However,
was-
saying
series 4
that,
was-
he did actually get me to watch. What was it? The Sarah Jane Adventures, because I had only watched 1 or 2 and I wasn't as keen on it. And he says, "Keep going, keep going." Eventually, he talked me into watching it, and I loved it.
Oh, it's great.
Absolutely
It's
loved
great.
it. And I
Yeah.
was glad he actually taught me.
What were you going to say, Sadako?
Oh no, so it's about Line of Duty. It's like, yeah, I agree that series 4 was a bit iffy. Like I thought series 3 was great, and I thought, well, maybe that's the high water mark. But like series 5,
Yeah.
So far it's looking like it's a real kind of return to form.
Yes, I agree.
Well, that's ideal when they come back. But see, sometimes when a TV show, if it sort of dips to the point where you go, I'm not one to go back to it. If it dips to the point I'm out. Even if people tell me afterwards, oh, it gets really better again. I say, well, they've already lost.
It's not a dip in as much as quality. It's still very high quality. It's a great story. It's just they get you very used to an extremely fast-paced sort of storytelling style. And the
True,
only
true,
difference
right.
is that it's still an excellent story and it's still very compelling, but it's just told in a slightly slower paced style,
Yeah.
but still good quality. I wouldn't say the quality of the show has dropped at all.
Yeah, I've not watched any of the newer cop shows for a long time.
Yeah, I hadn't for a long time either. And I
used
would
to
admit
love the cop
I'm
shows,
enjoying this
Starsky and
one.
Hutch and stuff like that, and even Criminal Minds and things like that I went into. But
Oh my God.
when we went to the procedural cop stuff, I just couldn't get into it anymore. I just stopped watching them.
Yeah,
And
I
Dan's
got
been at me
kind of
about watching it, and
but-
he's been telling me it's been really good, and I have watched a few streams about it, but it doesn't seem something that every time I think about, I could watch it, and then I think, oh, I've got the Librarians, or I've got this, and I've got that, and I've got that, and there's so much other stuff I want to watch in my collection that it always drops down because it's no a genre I'm going to jump at. That's the unfortunate side
Yeah,
of it.
that's fair enough. Guys, I'm absolutely hanging. I think I'm
No
gonna have
problem,
to
and
say
thank you
goodnight.
for joining us, and
Oh.
we'll see you on
Thank you.
Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
the movie we're
looking
doing?
forward to that.
What's on
No, that's
Wednesday?
Wednesday. We've not decided a Wednesday a
No.
movie for Wednesday yet. This is Tuesday for Alex.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tuesday's going to be fun. Yeah.
I hope I
We
see.
will
that.
decide tomorrow. I'll talk and we'll see if we can organise a movie for a Wednesday. But it won't be a continuation from the Wrath of Khan. I'm
Alright.
trying not to do a continuation because if we go search for Spock and I've got a habit of doing that, I'm trying to actually do a different one. There is a couple I would love to do, but I know I've been picking them.
Oh, I can think of a suggestion or two based on Tuesday.
What we'll do is
One
we'll,
about six.
we'll
One
chat
about
about
six.
it. I'll put it in the Discord. We'll chat about it in Discord rather than
Mhm.
Twitter because
Mhm.
everybody's on Discord. So
Right,
Right,
take care,
so-
Wendy.
Yeah,
care.
thank you very much, everybody. Awesome to chat and hang out.
yeah,
And,
thank
and,
you for joining us. Yet again, putting some style onto our channel.
Yeah.
Oh, but-
when say hi to
I'm
Cam as well.
knackered, so what's
Oh, by the
that?
way, Wendy, do pop in on our Awesome Factory Discord.
Ooh.
Dogstar and John Coogan have joined recently.
I have to tell you, I can't view stuff. I think my setting needs to be changed. It just says you don't have permission to post. So I see people joining, but I can't do anything. So just double
I
check.
joined, but I've not had a chance to look at it because I've been
Yeah.
busy.
I was going to
Well,
send you a PM and I forgot earlier today.
Right,
But
I'll
see what I
need
can
to
do.
actually.
yeah, cheers. That'd be
Right.
great.
Wayne, thank you very much, guys. You need to banff because Hoddit is actually needing a loo, I think. So I'll need to nip out. to
Uh-oh.
do
Okay.
Right. I'll be back shortly.
All right.
Wayne,
Good
thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Take care, Wendy.
Take
Bye,
care.
Wendy.
Bye.
I know.
So, what shall we talk about?
Let's talk about Wendy. No, she's gone. joking, Wendy.
Yeah. So, what's your idea, Colin, for Tuesday?
Oh, should we do Starship Troopers 2? We were going to do that before we changed.
Yeah. Was it Super Troopers? Or...
No, Starship Troopers 2. It was like the sequel to Starship Troopers.
Ah, right. Yeah. I
Hero
haven't
of
seen
the
it in ages.
Federation.
Mhm.
I haven't seen it in ages.
At least do the animated ones. They're better than the bloody. I would almost say Starship Troopers 3 because at least you get to see Jolene Blaylock in a damn tight top for most of that. until you quite literally get the
Oh, you swang you.
until you finally get actual almost combat suits coming down quite literally like Jesus on the freaking cross at the end of the film.
I know it's supposed to be what they showed on the cover of the book. The actual
Yeah,
suit.
this is the biggest complaint I have about Starship Troopers. It's a good film. The film is a good film. The original film. The
You
biggest
want to know
thing-
more?
and they do it, and they do a lot of that very, very well. The biggest problem I have with Starship Troopers is I've read the book, and they have Verhoeven famously didn't,
Yeah.
and misunderstood what it was about, and didn't manage to make a film that was anti-fascist. But more than the point, the whole point of the Cap Troopers is they're capsule troopers. They deploy from orbit. They're space powers. They're not space fucking mechanized infantry. I think the problem was, as you said, at the end of it, at the end of 3, I think they finally actually have power armor. You know.
Anyway, speaking about audiobooks, I know you've been listening to the Thunderbirds one recently because you should give them a try, Sadaku.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, apparently they've just announced another one, the Hood. Thunderbirds versus the Hood, and it's based around a TV Century 21 comic.
I think
Is this Big Finish?
Yeah.
Right. I've not listened to them in a while, I must admit. I used to listen to them a lot, and then my CD Walkman broke, and I've been I got the plan. I've been planning for a while to get an MP4 player Walkman, but I've never got round to it.
Mm.
I think when I do, I'll finally get round to listening to them again because I did enjoy listening to them back in the day.
I listen to them on the phone.
Yeah, it's a better thing for it.
But the problem I found, it's very, very weird, is
Did we lose Jim?
I think so. He'll be back.
Lost at sea. He was lost at sea, I think.
Typical Viking. I don't like these long. I tend, if I've got a book, I tend to break it down into chapters. And what I found is really, really weird is the all the Thunderbirds ones.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the way they recorded them, every chapter is split into two.
Yeah.
So what I did is I got a program and I joined them into chapters. So probably, but the first book in the series, Terror from the Sky, Terror from the Stars.
Yeah.
For some reason, I cannot anywhere get a copy that actually plays. But what I discovered today, when I actually join the bits together to make single chapters, then they play. It's the weirdest thing. You try and play chapter 1, part 1, whatever, in Windows Player, and it comes back with an error. Join the two together as an MP, and it plays perfectly. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, I listen to them because I used to listen to them a lot at work, and I listen to them on my phone, or I listen to. Sometimes I watch videos, or I listen to videos on the phone as well.
Yeah, I do that. It's sometimes on my phone, very rarely, but I've got my iPad, my laptop, or my computer. So basically, whatever I've got with me at the time.
I tend half the time, if I'm playing a game or something, I've got the phone next to me, and I've got the phone on the stand, and I'll actually be playing Fallout or whatever, and I'll be half listening to usually a YouTube video, or possibly something else I've downloaded and put over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyone else been listening to any latest Big Finish lately, or?
No, I'm actually listening to the Belgarath the Sorcerer. Still. Then I've got the first book of the Right, shut up. You must hear somebody walking past the house somewhere. But no, I've got the Belgariad to start after that. Thank you to Jim. He basically taught me into actually getting it. And the Belgarath the Sorcerer is 31 hours audiobook. So I've still got a few hours still to go in that one before I start the next Belgariad.
I dread to think what something like the Lord of the Rings would be as an audiobook.
Oh God. I remember listening to the Lord of the Rings on audiobook, 14 audio tapes.
Yeah.
Who was it narrated by?
How long ago it was? It was in tape.
Yeah. Who was it narrated by anyway?
I can't even remember.
Ah.
It was a long time ago. The audio tape.
So I know, call me a sad bastard, but the thing is I did listen to the Thomas the Tank Engine stories and narrated by Willie Rushton. And sound more better than what the TV series was coming out.
Sometimes the narrator can bring the story together. Like, see the Terry Pratchett stuff?
Yeah.
I'm no Kieran Nigel Planer reading them.
Because he's doing the Wizard books, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Tony Robertson did a couple of Terry Pratchett's ones, and he was really good at them. But Nigel Planer, I really like Nigel Planer, but it just didn't seem right. But some of the other narrators have been really good as well. It's just a case of I've found sometimes somebody they didn't have the cadence when it doesn't seem right for the book. And I find that's the problem.
But they don't put enough dramatic or, force behind in reading these stories.
The best one I ever saw, I remember listening to, and this is years ago when I was doing data input after I left university. So you're talking about 95. That's when I got into audiobooks because doing data input, we were all sitting with headphones on, just listening to books. Most people are listening to music and onward tape deck. So we had our wee Walkman with the tape going in, and I would get stuff out of the library, the big box with 2 or 4 tapes in it. I remember those a long time ago. And it was the Sharps series, and who used to read it was Paul Gabanara, and my God, he brought those books to life. He used to see when I started watching the Sharp stuff on TV. Yes, they cut it down by 10% or to 10%. So instead of having the 500 chosen men, they had the 5 in Sharp. So you only had, and the troops they were instead of having thousands, they would have maybe about 50 or 60, and you're meant to think this is the Napoleonic War with all these troops. It just didn't work. But the biggest thing was that none of the characters sounded the way Paul Gamanara actually portrayed them, and it just didn't seem right. So if you ever get a chance to listen to the Sharp stuff, the early one, Sharp's Rifles, the very first book I listened to, dragged me in, and Paul Gamanara just basically, he just made it come alive. And that's, to me, a good narrator can bring a book alive for you.
It's not an era I was ever really interested in Waterloo. I must admit, the Waterloo era. I listened to some historical murder mysteries. I feel like if I work out, find out who does them, but there's Lindsay Davies's Flavia Albia books, and the lady that reads those is very good.
Yeah. Do you know who? Because the Sharp stuff is Bernard Cornwell.
Yeah.
He does other stuff, which is Shield Wall stuff.
Yeah, I've read some of his. I've read the first of his 100 Years' War ones. I've read the first one that leads up to the one about Cressy.
Well, he also does stuff. It's Viking stuff.
Yeah, I know.
They're really good because he knows his battle formations.
Yeah, and he also
the Napoleonic stuff. He knows square, line, cavalry, cannonade, and everything like that. So he knows how to actually write about a battle and make it feel real. And it was the same idea when I was reading the stuff about the shield walls and stuff like that, and it was he just basically made it come alive.
I mean, he's also done some Dark Ages, mythical ones about King Arthur.
Yep.
I say it's just I've read some of them. It's just the Napoleonic era, just not one that interests me particularly, unless it's.
I love the Napoleonic era. I've got a lot of books which are first-hand accounts from British infantrymen, cavalrymen. Basically, some of them are actually officers, which obviously most of the officers knew how to read, write, and very few infantrymen did because they were brought in and they weren't. It was only the sergeants needed to know how to read.
Yeah.
To do it, but some of them are actually from there's one Private Weller, and it is an absolutely fantastic one. He was a scholar, and it was when they were starting to recruit people who it wasn't a case of just bringing in, as what Wellington would call them, the scum of the earth. They would bring in people who were patriotic and they were trying to fight. So you had teachers, you had people who came in from different, and Private Weller could read and write, and he wrote his diary, and the book is absolutely amazing. It's about his life on the line, as it were.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. It's weird because you used to get that. I mean, one of the first military history books I got into was Soldier Eye, and that was one of the first books where you'd actually got a grunt special for because this was mainly about the Iranian embassy siege. It's by a guy called his identity stand as Pete Winner. But this is just when the SAS started coming into public.
Mhm.
It was a few years afterwards, but I mean, the things he'd done other things
If
as well.
you've got that, would you call him that guy now who's quite famous for writing a lot of the
Yeah, Andy McNabb.
Andy McNabb, yeah.
Or Chris Ryan, but yeah, I mean, because Winner was, I mean, he was actually he's at two of the big things. He was actually at the Battle of Murbat as well, which was it's a major event if you know the special forces in the British military history and the rest of it.
It's too late for me, unfortunately, because I like the Napoleonic.
Oh well,
and
yeah,
the
I was.
Second World
It's
War.
weird. I was like that.
I just
like
want
that.
to sorry, Colin.
I was like that at school, where I was history. I was interested up to about the Middle Ages. Then I lost interest till anything after World War II.
Yeah, at school I was not interested in history at all. It was later on when I started researching the HLI, which my grandfather was in, and I was researching that because I was trying to get information on his medals and stuff like that. And it just started dragging me in. And then obviously with the 71st, before they became the HLI and stuff like that, and it was a case of I started reading that, and then I got on to the sharp stuff and
71st.
the 71st, the 71st Regiment of the Line.
That's interesting. My TA
Yeah, the
unit was 71st Yeomanry Signals.
No, the 71st Regiment of the Line.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's interesting because when I was in TA, my regiment was 71st Yeomanry Signal Regiment.
Yeah, see, there's still there's the building where the HLI, which was the 6th Battalion HLI, was called the Maryhill Battalion.
No,
And they basically the 71st. It wasn't a Scottish regiment initially, but it was the 71st Regiment of the Line, and it was a Scottish laird who started it, but same again. They would just take anybody they could get, and it was less than half of them, I think, were Scots. But gradually, then he paid for the kit, and it was basically the Trews, the Tartan Trews, and then he would get more Highlanders and stuff like that, and it just basically grew from there. Then they became later on when they were renaming them all, they became the Highland Light Infantry.
Anyway,
I've got to go. Oh, I've got to go now. By the way, one recommendation as well. If you're into books about embassy sieges and things like that, The Siege of Mecca is a really good read. It's forgotten who it's by now, but it's this brilliant book. It's about the 1979 siege of the Grand Mosque in Mecca, where a bunch of Islamists basically they smuggled in loads of ammunition in these coffins and basically took over the entire mosque. And it's about the long siege there was to try and get rid of them. It's well worth reading. It's written like an action movie, but it's really, it's
interesting.
Yeah, that sounds ideal.
I've got to go anyway.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thanks, okay.
We will see you later.
See you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Frustrating.
I
know. I've just texted Jim his Windows updates kicked in, so you might not be able to rejoin us for tonight.
Special Windows 11. They'll be.
So he is watching us. He is watching us.
Well,
so
Jim, na. You can get me back for that one. But so well, I've literally been. I've just been ploughing through some stuff. Did anybody watch the Orville? I've not watched it.
Yeah, I watched the latest episode.
I've not watched 4 yet. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. I was planning to watch it today, but I was so busy today. We were out my mother-in-law and father-in-law's anniversary, so we were out for a nice meal.
Can I just give you a warning about it? It's a bit political. That's all I can say.
See, the thing is, last week's one, I just thought was meh at the best.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, and yet there was some ones in season 1 and 2 that were a bit, but they were still quite entertaining. I think last episode 1 just seemed quite boring. They just seemed to actually spend too much time leading up to stuff that didn't really actually annoy. It just annoyed me. Hello, Apologies Minion. If I've got that right, I'm terrible for pronunciation. So
I'm going insane.
Are you?
was it?
Yes.
Carol was saying it was a lot better this week.
Last week was a bit dull.
I found it
Like,
very dull last week, and that's what the problem was. If this week is, even if it's political, is still if it's entertaining, I'm okay with that.
I agree with you there, Carol. I did watch that episode, and I did find it absolutely funny because it was a turn on the head.
I've not watched any Star Trek.
I don't blame you, but it's just that episode was funny.
Yeah, I think that's my wife coming in because the dogs are going nuts.
Oh, it moved.
So she was out at a charity thing tonight, so she's due back about now. And so I think that's her coming in because that's why I had to go away earlier because my wife would have dealt with him if he needed a loo. But the fact that he's coming and barking at me, telling me, going, ho, 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 ho. So I had to actually take him out just to make sure. Can he actually say, you shouldn't have done that? But I told you. But I've not watched any Star Trek stuff since, oh God, I can't remember the last Star Trek stuff I watched. Just because it's the movies. I watched Star Trek, the reboot, and I thought that was an interesting premise. It could have been really good. Then the second one, I thought, nah, this is boring. This is basically, it's taking everything and just twisting it, and it just did not work for me. Can and all that. Can! And oh, God. What did that mean? Nothing and stuff like that. It's just trying to, member berry. Here, take this member berry.
As long as they don't bring Khan into the second season of Strange New World.
Well, they don't need to because they've already got a Khan in the Strange New World. You know what I mean? That just meant that Spock, when he turns around and says, nobody knows. So basically, you worked with his granddaughter, but nobody knew anything about Khan. But you worked with his granddaughter.
Can I just say something? What they did to her character this week was, I don't know if you find it hilarious, but I thought that is really out of character what she is used to playing.
Yeah. Thing is, I've not watched it, but it's the fact is they bring a character. It's typical when they actually bring a character in, which basically screws previous stuff, and that's what they want to do. They're constantly want to screw the old stuff, so the old stuff is senseless now because what they did in the old stuff makes no sense if you're using that as canon, and that's what annoys me with it.
I think Strange New World has started off well. But it depends how it's going to go.
That's what I've said before.
Yeah.
If something actually drives me away, doesn't matter how good it gets, I'm still not going to go back to it because stop actually screwing things over. And if you screw it over and then make something that's really good, because you've screwed it over all that much, I'm not going to watch the new stuff. Stop screwing it over from the beginning, and that's my problem. But you know me, I prefer I would rather watch the old stuff than the new stuff anyway. I'm a pain in the backside for that because I'm aware that I've got a bias because if it's new, it's no for me. And that's why basically the only two movies I've seen which were new movies, and it was because I asked, I says, I'm looking to see, because everybody kept saying, you need to watch this, you need to watch that. And I says, okay, what would an old guy name a movie that I might like and be interested? And it was suggested that Boss Level. So I gave it, and then I did a review, and I loved it. Then Tomorrow's War was another one, which I watched it, and I thought it was pants. And then the next one was Free Guy. And I watched it and I thought it was okay. Didn't think it was fantastic, but I thought it was okay and entertaining. And I thought that's a good thing. However, the other next one that got recommended to me was Maverick. And the problem is, A, I didn't like the first movie, and B, I dislike Tom Cruise. And I cannot watch anything with Tom Cruise. Doesn't matter how good it is. There's only two things that I like with Tom Cruise in it. There's only two things I like with Tom Cruise in it. Is Rain Man, and what was the other one? The one he dances and he slides in.
Ricky Business.
Risky Business, that's the one. That was the only two movies. Anything else Tom Cruise has been in, I found his personality just annoys me. Doesn't matter because the Mission Impossible stuff disliked immensely.
And again,
Here we're back again. Right, hopefully that'll block them out. But the problem is, see when it blocks them out, it's just basically I need to still go in. It still shows up on the channel for me, which I have to go in and report because I have to do it individually.
Agree with you, Disaster Area. That was okay. Based on the actual true story.
Was that Born on the 4th of July? Yeah, was that the one? He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's actually based on the guy. You know, I've never watched the movie myself, but it is actually based on his biography.
Yeah, I did see it, but same again. It was Tom Cruise. It just did not do it for me. And it is the problem is it's because of him. There's very few actors there's a lot of actors I don't like, but their movies don't bother me. However, I don't know what it is about Tom Cruise. Anything in movies he's in, I don't like. I don't seem to like.
Usually you got like one-hit wonders.
Yeah,
coming up now and again.
See, I wish there was more one-hit wonders because I don't want the prequels, the sequels to be.
Yeah.
I want them to be crap, so they stop making them.
Yeah.
Sequels I can understand to an extent. I hate prequels. Dislike prequels immensely. Anything that goes back, that anything they do changes the original stuff, does it for me.
It's the problem I have two problems with prequels. One of which is, you notice, depends when they do them, but as we were saying earlier on, you look at you look at any of the Star Trek stuff these days that's set before Enterprise, it looks like it's set and it looks like it's in the future because the technology.
If you have got a Star Trek show where they've got holographic communications, and it's set before the original Star Trek,
that's just bad storytelling on their part.
Exactly.
But there's also the fact that even when you look at Enterprise, which was good,
and I always thought it looked their technology just seemed better, and I thought
because it was cleaner. And you have to remember, amongst other people, Star Trek in particular, the original series was made before transistors were a big thing.
Yeah,
transistors were just coming in for starters, which is why their computers look so different. But the other thing is that you do a prequel, something which Disney could do with learning. You're tied into what's got to happen in the future.
Yeah, and they don't. They just change it. So what happens in the future means nothing.
I mean, again, Enterprise, I thought, did it reasonably well. When they did, I thought that their best season for me was the last season, when they did a lot of the multi-episode, touching on things already in.
Like for instance, they were talking about the Klingons.
Yeah, like the augments and the.
Yeah, and also with Tapao, she digmated, so she was on it. Things like that didn't annoy me at all because that's okay, that's fine. But it's when they start messing around with stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. There is one movie in the Star Wars I thought could have been really good because I heard stuff about it before it was made, and that was Solo. Because the one thing I got told about Solo was there's only going to be two of the original characters in it. There's going to be Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, and maybe Chewbacca, maybe, right? So there was going to be three characters. They weren't going to bring in all the other characters just because they're going to meet them later on. So I thought, so they're basically doing a prequel about him. And then obviously they screwed it up because of everything else. But the idea was good. That would be like if I had the choice and they were saying, right, we're going to do a Solo movie, right? Well, we'll do the Solo movie because these three characters have got history before they got brought in, before they met them in the bar. Yeah. So they could have actually did something which had nothing to do with what was going to lead up in the Kessel Run or whatever, anything else. and do something like that, but they didn't. They messed it around and oh, it's for kids. Aye, so he's having sex with robots and it's for kids. No problem. And stuff like that. And they ruined Lando Calrissian.
I mean,
And that's the problem.
I've never seen hashtag Solo lost money. I've not seen any of the Disney Star Wars movies.
Oh, the thing is, I've not seen it, but when I first heard they were doing it, and then there was talk about what it was going to be about, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea because they're doing a prequel about characters, but they're not introduced. They're not bringing all the characters in to say they've met them all before they met in that bar. And that's the thing I thought was a good idea.
I mean, they could have done it. It's like so many things these days. I think you could. I mean, you could do it. You could do it. It's exactly the same as the same idea as the Obi-Wan series. You're taking. I mean, okay, so in Obi-Wan's case, he's already been in the prequels, but you're taking characters with a backstory and you're filling out the backstory. That's fine.
And to me, what they should have done with that is all about Ben.
Yeah. And I mean, you could
Luke
have done.
would have just been a wee character you see in the distance every so often. It wouldn't have been important. Leia certainly should not have been mentioned at all.
No. So
it should have been him, just how he, and they could have done it all in flashbacks. That's the thing about where he is, and like you could have brought in Qui-Gon Jinn, and it's a flashback with him. They're talking about something that you didn't see in the prequel. But because he's feeling that he needs to get away from it all. But it could have been a discussion point, or he was remembering things that happened in the past that you didn't see. But it's no important stuff, just things that maybe have changed how he has gone downhill a bit and why he needs to hide himself away. They could have done that if they wanted to bring in certain characters, but not bring them in and then suddenly they're running around beside them and all that, and you're sitting there thinking that screws the canon. Whereas if he was just talking about his life or thinking about his life, well, maybe he's got to binoculars checking over Luke. There's Luke there, and then he's just sitting thinking about something, and like, I remember I used to do, and then there would be a flashback about Obi-Wan talking to somebody or training with Qui-Gon.
He should never have met Vader for starters.
Of course not, but he could have had Vader in it because he could have been what had happened before about this, something else that happened in the background.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, the thing is, I think what they were hoping to do with Solo.
The Thing prequel.
I think what they were starting to do with Solo, what they were hoping to do, was effectively have a series of films about major or minor characters. So that's where, for example, the Mandalorian stroke
the ideas
would have fitted into film.
Yeah, the ideas were perfect for that.
It's just it lost money so bad
because they were too busy trying to mess around with everything else. So you could have had. There were certain characters you couldn't have because they've already done the prequels, so all those things were all gone. But yes, things like the Mandalorian, and as somebody says, the universe is a big place, so you didn't need to have them meeting the same characters or interacting with major plot points from the next movie. So you could have had the Mandalorian, and he was just garden thingy, but there was no other stuff here, and he was just let it be a Western type. That's the type of thing they've done, and I think they screwed the pooch because they're too busy saying, right, but it needs to be this, it needs to be this person needs to come in, this person needs to come in, we need to include that. No, you can do it just as here's a character before you ever met him, this is what he was like. But they can't do that because they're too busy saying, okay, we need to introduce this one because he's going to have this and she's going to be doing this and that. So you need to actually show how they don't want you to actually see the old characters. They want you to see the new characters because this Reva, accordingly, her TV show spin-off was planned over a year and a half ago.
I was hoping her head gets
So they had already planned. She was getting a TV series before it was actually on the TV to see if she was popular.
I was watching. Who is it? Was it Az? No. Someone was
As in
doing.
Gary, the Friday Night Tyson were talking about it.
No, it was Friday Night Tyson. Someone's been doing a review, and they were doing a review of episode 6.
I
I
was
remember.
going nuts about episode 6
I
because
wish you couldn't, yeah. But no, because there's something he's talking about, and what I thought was so was he was talking about this little dolphin that Leia's got, and he kept referring to it as the merchandise. It's not really merchandise.
that was as it was
it
as. Aye,
Yeah,
because
they
were talking about
obvious
she was
merchandise.
saying is,
It's not
why
going
is
to
she
be
playing
obvious
with that? Because merchandise. We're not showing the merchandise, and it's basically
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's when you think back. I mean, if you think about it, seriously, you look back at some of the shows that not so much from my generation, but from your generations. There we go again. Like, for example, Transformers. They were, I mean, some of those shows, certainly American ones, were made to sell toys.
yep,
It wasn't the case that the merchandise came from the shows came from the merch to advertise the toys.
Yes,
And it worked. And
a lot of TV shows like Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe. It was they were programs specifically done to sell merchandise. But the problem was they were entertaining shows, even though they were He-Man, because they were designed for that. But nowadays, like, and George Lucas knew exactly what he was doing, because he basically says, no problem, as long as I get the rights to the toys, the studios, and he made his money because he knew all these things were going to be popular once he realised that people loved the show. So the Stormtroopers easily done, all these things would have been easy to do, the AT-ATs, the ATSTs, and you're sitting there thinking, nowadays they're saying, now, give us a new toy. Like, for instance, you had
merchandise.
What did they do? BB-8, a big horrible figure. And then they've got the new one, which looks like a wheel with a
oh god!
Yeah, thinking, people are actually just going, right, here's the merchandise, now put that in the TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
Going, fuck off.
How many? The thing is, I've got no offense against Baby Yoda or Grogu, as they call it, but how many? It was supposed to be the best kept secret, wasn't it, Colin? When you first started.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry. I didn't. The Mandalorian, I saw like the first half of the first episode. Yeah.
Wasn't particularly bothered. Then, just before season 2 came out, I think Loki was going to review it, and I thought, okay. And I watched the first series, and then the second series for the reviews, and I quite enjoyed it. But so I don't know. I'm not sure how much that was supposed to be secret, because I wasn't aware how much was mentioned at the time.
No offense to the Grogu chapters out there, but I'm not a particularly big huge fan of Grogu. Sorry, you can hate me for it, but
Grogu, is that the wee Yoda thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe not Yoda, because Yoda's dead by now.
One of my friends, she just got a new pop figure. It was a Valentine's pop figure, she was telling us, but they were selling it cheap, so she picked it up, and it's a Mandalorian with a Grogu with a wee hat on it. And I must admit that it actually looked like a nice figure. So it did. Because I can understand why people like the Grogu figure. I've not watched the Mandalorian, but I can understand why people like it, because there's certain figures like R2D2. I remember me and my brother growing up when we were kids. After Star Wars came out, my dad bought me and my brother 2 figures each. Models we had to assemble. I got C-3PO, which I absolutely loved, and I got an X-Wing. My brother got R2D2 and a TIE Fighter, which he absolutely loved. So I got one that I absolutely loved. He got one that I absolutely loved, and the other 2 were quite nice. They weren't our favourite toys, but the other 2 were the bee's knees, as we would say. And I remember that. Whereas now, it's you've got a lot of there's pops and this and that, and that there's hundreds of figures, as you can see, all around us. that there's plenty out there, but how many do people actually go, oh, I want that?
Yeah.
There's certain figures, and I can understand like the Grogu because I've seen a lot of people, they've got the soft toys. I remember I got for my daughter a dinosaur baby, not the mama, gotta love me, and all that. That was from Disney's Dinosaur, right? And my daughter loved that. And the Grogu version, I've seen the Grogu version of that, and I can understand it because my daughter loved it. I loved Disney's Dinosaurs. She thought it was okay, but it was one of those things I can understand why that toy is so popular, because it's a nice toy for kids. It's a nice soft toy, and it even for adults, it's a nice wee fig. There's certain some of the figures are just great.
Well, I mean,
So
you used to get. I don't know. I haven't seen too many of them these days, but certainly. Oh, excuse me. Used to be a few of these videos where you get people go to their local shop, especially in something like B&M, or I think they mainly seem to be in the States, and they show shelf after shelf of Star Wars stuff, and all the new stuff was still there, all was on sale and still wasn't selling, and yet you get one or two, you get what's obviously been a row of original series stuff, one item left. The merch for the modern stuff just doesn't sell.
Well, that's the problem. I was in Asda, right? There was a load of pop figures. They had Omega Red. I was so tempted to pick it up. But there was a load of figures. And there was a lot of Star Wars ones. The Star Wars ones were slightly cheaper. But there was loads of them. There was one or two Omega Red, other different figures. And I thought, I can understand why they're cheap, because there's hundreds of them and nobody wanted to buy them, so they're putting the prices down. Whereas there was other figures that were the standard price, but I'm sitting there going, do I want to buy it? Well, there's other stuff I wanted to buy for my grandson, so I decided no, I'll spend the money there instead. So even I saw a figure that I wanted, and it was a case of that for my grandson or that for me. My grandson's getting it, so I'm not. I'm thinking, but the thing is, I can understand why people just look at it and go, "Nah, that just does not work for me." I can understand why some people love them, because if they like the programs, I'm not one that says you shouldn't like it because it's crap. Telling me I should love it, even just because, is something I don't like. But if somebody loves it, those figures being cheap is the best thing for them. Because they can buy them instead of having to just wait a 6 months, and you'll be able to get them cheap. And that's the thing, and that's the good thing, because it's the same as Doctor Who. Way back when, I used to be able to buy Doctor Who figures nice and cheap because there was an abundance of them out there. They'd put them out, people weren't buying them. So guess what? They went on sale. So, woohoo! I bought them. I was okay with that. Then they brought Doctor Who back, and there was a lot more getting put out. And then they were cheaper again. So I got ones. And then they would do the classic stuff, and they would be cheaper again. So great. It was fantastic. Now, if there's a good Doctor Who one out, like the Tom Baker and the robot that Gwen's got, the fact that she got that at a decent price, to me, is shocking, because people are snapping those ones up. And I'm surprised shops are actually not realising certain ones are getting snapped up. So why are they putting them on sale? So I am aware that it would disadvantage to me, but I can understand why it's an advantage to people who like the modern stuff. I'm okay with it. Well, because when it comes down to the collections, there's certain things in here that people go, don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that. And I just say, that's okay. It's in my house, no yours. I'm okay with it. If you don't like it, that means I can get it.
Well, the thing a while ago, I'm sure they're saying that you sort of these reports of people of retailers coming back to the filmmakers and saying, no, we're not interested. This stuff just doesn't sell.
Yeah.
You know, that was the retailers telling the film companies, the merchants, no, the stuff just doesn't sell. We don't want it.
Well, you look at Toys R Us. They put so much into it that they went bankrupt because they were taking so much stuff, expecting it to sell, and the movies were crap, and people weren't buying the stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody went into a Toys R Us, walking down, and they had rows upon rows of these figures, big figures, small figures, and nobody was buying it. So Toys R Us basically went out of
Because that the
business.
Star Wars ones on start.
They basically thought, new Star Wars, excellent, get in there. They went in there, and then Disney Star Wars were crap, and people just went, I'm not paying £100 for that.
Yeah.
Take it off.
I wonder how many Jar
Even
Jar.
for a tenner, they'll take it.
I wonder how many Jar Jar Binks figures there have been left on the shelves when that came out.
I think it would be the same idea. I think you're right.
We're not. It's
B&M
not B&M.
definitely do not have enough figures. Like that figure that Wen got, I can guarantee if I'd gone into B&M today, it would have been gone as soon as it.
Disaster era. It's not B&M's. It's character options. I spoke to a representative at B&M's. Is that what you get? What they get in is what they get. That's
You
why.
see B&M, some of the figures that B&M get,
Yeah.
there's some of the other toy stores I know get them. Some of the collectible, the ones that are like the toy store, the comic book collectibles, they get them, and the first thing they do is put them in a shelf in the back. They don't sell them because they know B&M's get some, so they'll sell them at B&M.
I got this as part of the set at B&M's. Do you know how bloody hard this was to get in the set? Some idiot kept going in and buying tons of Daleks. Not to scout, but just to build an army.
Don't need to talk about yourself like that.
Oh.
And anyway, tons of idiots are fine. I'm going to be, just because I've got a special weapons Dalek and you know.
I'll get it one day.
You will get it one day. But it's the thing, is like, I know the comic store that I go to and I like, I talk to the guy and he says, well, when he gets them in, the first thing he does is puts them in his back room, because there's no point him putting them up, because B&M gets them and they sell them, and then when they sell so many, they put them on sale to get rid of the rest. So there's no point him putting them on the shelf because nobody's going to buy them. He says when B&M go out of sale, they stop getting them, he puts them on the shelf and sells them for the price they were meant to be sold at, and he sells them. So there's no point him doing it when B&M's got them. And it's that idea. So people think, oh, B&M only get them. No, other places get them, but B&M, because they sell them so cheap, people are actually just dragging. And but
the thing is, B&M made a deal with character options. That's the thing. That's why they only can sell them exclusively at B&M's. It's a pain in the neck, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as I told you I went into. There's a place down in Ayr called XS. And they've got excess stock, and I told you about that set I've got. I'll show you. This is the one I got, and I got it nice and cheap. Excess.
You lucky sod.
There was about 4 of these in excess just sitting on the shelf. I got that for £12. Because
at least he's got the pictures of the originals.
Yes, that's the 4 of them, and the information in the back. It's the wee booklet and everything. It's absolutely fantastic. The only thing that's bad about it is that. That's the only thing. But the good thing is, it's only at the edges. So if you've got it sitting like that, you don't see it.
Can I just say something? Once the Russell T Davies era #2 kicks in, we'll probably have a whole new logo.
Yes.
Together. That's one thing I'd be grateful.
But the problem is, I don't think it's going to be any better.
Oh, I don't know. But the thing is,
I think it's going to be worse.
I say change the bloody logo for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
See, the thing is, changing the logo and then being bad, then that logo's just going to be associated with crap again.
We'll go back to the original.
no,
I
don't. No, but the
I
thing
want
is,
them to go back to the original because the original is my favourite. I've got a mug up there, which has got the best Tom Baker one. That's the one I want.
They
Well, the
still
thing
had. Sorry, Colin. Carry on.
I'll say when they do change the logo, the one thing I do not want them to do, I don't care how bad it is, I do not want them to put that on any Jodie merch. Jodie merch, if there was any Jodie merch out there, it should have her logo on it. Her logo should be on that, and that's fine.
Yeah,
It
but I
should
don't
not
think
be on the stuff that precedes that. That's the big
I-
complaint.
That's the logo.
Yeah.
That's the
But
only
I
logo.
don't think there's going to be much Jodie merch after she's
No, I
gone.
don't. I
But
don't
the
think
problem
there's
is
much Jodie
the thing is, once they start, if they change the logo, then they ain't going to put Jodie logos on any Jodie merch. Any merch that's made from that new logo
that's the-
will have the new logo.
Yeah,
This is
but
I
another
don't
thing
think
is,
it should be.
sorry, Colin.
Yeah, go on, Alex.
The idea is Big Finish has absolutely done it right. They released it with the new logo, but they gave you the alternative sleeves with the classic logos on them.
Yes, I asked
That's what
them.
they should do for the merchandise.
Yeah,
I
and the
asked
problem
them.
is, you look at the new stuff like that one I just showed you. It's got because of the era it was created in.
It has
it's
to
got
have
that
the
logo.
current
The
logo. yes.
stuff next week or next year or next 2 years when they change the logo is going to have that. It doesn't matter if it's classic, doesn't matter if it's Jodie, doesn't matter if it's Tom Baker, David Tennant, makes no difference because they make it during that. That's the logo they'll use.
I mean, I did actually years ago. I actually asked Big Finish about that, and it said exactly that. That what they've got is they have to have the logo on it.
I like that one, Carol. All the cheap stuff dumped. Superb.
Oh dear.
Hey guys, what are you up to over the next few days?
Right.
Tell us about your stream for the
Okay. We are discussing Terror in New York City on Tuesday. Everyone is welcome to come along and discuss about it and that. And I'm also welcome for anyone to come onto the stream because we will be, throwing that the StreamYard link in the chat. Now, before we go, PJ, can I show the trailer, please?
Yes.
Okay, give me a second.
Because we will be finishing very shortly, ladies and gents. I'm actually starting to get tired and falling asleep here.
Here is the trailer.
This is the trailer for it. I hope you've cut out the last minute.
The last minute.
Trailer rather than the
last
credits.
5 seconds.
Trailer rather than the credits.
It's not on it. It's not on it. It's not on it.
Right, good. Right, here we go.
Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
And the guys will need to, in the chat will need to let us know what they think of this. Right. I know what you did there. So you sorry, Colin. Sorry. I meant to actually remove it from the stream, and he actually cancels it himself, so that you moved along and it went to remove. So that's basically the people who actually not got the bigger bit, and that is actually really good.
Yeah, the link is for the show is in the description. Anyone who wants to watch the episode before Tuesday, I'll put links in the Discord, and also you can find it on all
to watch the intro. They're not going to be able to watch the stream before Tuesday.
No, the episode.
No, episode of Terror New York City. If they want to watch it, it's in this links in Discord, or you can find it on any streaming service, which is when it's available on now.
Yeah, I've got mine's aside ready to watch. I'm going to be watching it Monday night. So
yeah, this is. Oh, and also one more. I forgot to mention one more thing. This is a pilot only to watch certain Jerry Anderson TV series episodes for future shows. So we will not be reviewing the entirety of Thunderbird. The next one might be Captain Scarlet, Space Precinct,
Captain Scarlet,
UFO.
This is
It
the
depends
voice
what
of
we
the
pick.
Mr. Rons.
It depends what we pick and how we go along. But this is only the pilot for this.
Can we do one of Joe 90?
We could do.
Joe 90, I remember growing up with Joe 90. It was one of my favourites. It's just a boy could do all this stuff. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Colin, have you got anything to add?
Yes,
Not
Colin.
really. We're on Tuesday.
Right. And for us on Wednesday, we will be doing another movie review or movie chat. It's not a movie review. We chat about the movie. Yes, we try and review it, but we end up just gabbing about it.
Yeah.
We will be doing one. We'll be discussing it tomorrow amongst us to see what movie we're going to do. But because we've got the Thunderbirds for Tuesday, it has to be something we've all got access to at the moment. So it's going to be a very fickle one, because getting to watch it just before Wednesday is going to be, so we need to get it organised tomorrow. ASAP. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lads and lassies, thank you for joining us. Remember and hit that like, share and subscribe stuff. I keep forgetting to tell people to do because I just like chatting.
Yeah.
So remember, myself, Colin and Alec, and the rest of the guys who are no longer with us are gone to their bed probably, or they're still trying to build their computer gym. Remember, we're not old, we're classic. PJ maybe and the guys out. Ta-da!